What is going on, geeks and gamers? We're here. We're live. For those of us in America, somehow we're still standing. We're still okay, despite everything else, all the rumors you may have heard in those foreign lands. But we are gathered here today to talk about video games, and of course, the other things that come up in chat. Lethal, how are you doing today?
I am very well, thank you. It's starting to get warm over here, Australian summers and all that good jazz. How are you doing, Ryan? Not that I actually care, but how are you?
Oh, well, I appreciate the sentiment, Lethal. I'm doing good. I enjoy watching democracy die with thunderous applause. Mark the Cyborg, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Just spent a fair amount of time working on my Yakuza video, and I'm extremely tired from a workout because I'm trying to get in shape for my upcoming wedding.
Well, speaking of that, a lot of people, the chat's already asking, where the fuck is your beanie at, Mark?
I'm too hot. I don't want to wear it right now.
All right. Understood. I was hoping for a more entertaining answer than that, but okay. Yeah. Jeremy, how are you?
Mark the Cyborg. Entertainment's not happening at all. But yeah, happy to be here. Happy I still have any accounts on the internet. And just remember, support geeksandgamers.com, but we'll discuss that a little bit later. I'm excited because we've got a really cool guest today.
That is true. We have with us Upper Echelon Gaming. How's it going, man?
It's going good. Good to see you again, man. It's a pleasure. It's a lot of stuff going on in the world, but let's talk some video games to not talk about what's going on in the world.
I heard that.
Exactly. It is kind of crazy. We talked about it a little bit before the stream. January is traditionally kind of a slow time in gaming just because you have all the holiday stuff that gets pushed out for the holidays, and this always seems like kind of the empty time. Especially with everything related with COVID and how it pushed a lot of things back that could have been coming out and all of that. But
is highlight Isaiah Briggs? Is that me in his profile picture?
Here it is. There it is. Isaiah Briggs with a crazy Jeremy profile without a hat. Post to Odyssey.
What the fuck?
So I do post to Odyssey. I know Jeremy's DDayCobra account posts to Odyssey.
Upper Echelon's got one too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a decent platform. So I don't know. It's easy too. It's really easy. You can see your whole library.
Yeah, I mean, the interface was really good. It seems more like YouTube than any other UI that I've seen. And yeah, I mean, it can't hurt to mirror your stuff to another platform, and that's what I do with DDayCobra and a lot of us do. So I need to get Geeks and Gamers on there as well. I just haven't done that yet. We have a BitChute that mirrors over there, but.
Yeah, you got Ryan as your canary in the coal mine, though. So if you're gonna get banned, he'll get banned first. And you have to like it.
Yeah, that is true. I do. Well, Jeremy's DDayCobra is a little bit different topics.
Yeah.
I think on my live streams I probably go a little harder than Jeremy, but his videos on DDayCobra may be a little harder than what I cover on my channel.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as I stop tweeting, you'll know that they may be coming for you next.
Yeah, right. We're next in line.
Yeah, but let's hit a couple of these super chats before we get into the topics, guys. Real quick, Roger Haynes becomes a channel member. Thank you so much, Roger. I thought you did that. You may have switched your payment accounts around, but either way, I appreciate you. Then he gives a thumbs up super sticker for $1.99 Canadian. Thank you, Roger. Bweezy Bird for $4.99. Andre Seegers, the founder of Game Explain YouTube channel, got exposed for giving his partners $1 to $2 an hour in high-level crunch. Sounds like he fits right in the gaming industry.
Yeah, so I've been a longtime fan of Game Explain. I heard about this last night. Game Explain is kind of a weird thing because I'm a fan of their content. I am not a fan of them because they are woke as fuck. They are anti-Trumper, TDS nut jobs. And again, I don't mind if you don't like Trump. That's not really my problem. But the way that they approach it, and Andre Seegers is completely just he has no grip on reality when it comes to politics. But I heard about this last night, and again, the woker somebody is, the shittier they usually are as a person. And when you're projecting so hard on social media, and then you have these employees that had really bad experiences and their wives hate your guts, apparently, it's interesting. I mean, look, disgruntled employees are disgruntled employees. It's happened to me. There's always two sides to
Future
every story.
disgruntled employee. So
Yeah, I mean, whenever I decided to speak out about everything going on in Hollywood and the woke ideologies and stuff, I had a lot of people just blatantly quit on me, and these were people that had far left-wing views, and basically their entire reason for leaving was because I was a Trump supporter. They knew privately I was a Trump supporter, but publicly they was like, oh my God, I can't be connected to a Trump supporter because my inner circle will eat me alive. So their idea was to smear me of sorts. It happens, but when you project so hard like Andre does, it's pretty hilarious. But I do like their content, so I guess we'll have to look further into it. Nintendo Prime has a video breaking all of this down if you guys are interested in that, though.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't really. The only time I watch them is when you're like, oh, Game Explained did this video. Check it out. I want more video like this on the content.
Yeah,
on
they
the
do. They do.
website.
They
That's pretty
do.
much it.
They do great videos, great breakdowns.
Yeah, they do a lot of just like normal news shit. Just get it out there quick.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey Gusser for $5. Ryan, so is the Snyder Cut supposed to release on HBO Max on the same day as 4K Blu-ray? Your thoughts on this too, Lethal? I believe it'll be well after.
Yes.
They need Snyder Cut to be on HBO Max. They need people to subscribe to HBO Max. So I wouldn't be expecting anything like that for quite a while after. That's my thoughts.
Now imagine I'm going to be able to look forward to renting each part of it for $30 a piece to be able to watch once.
We'll do it.
Well, granted, that did help me dodge the Wonder Woman 1984 bullet, but man, HBO's got to get their shit together for Canada.
It's not even in Australia.
Yeah, well, between the 12 million people in Canada and Australia combined, they're not missing much revenue.
We have an HBO app, though. That's what bothers me. It's that I pay for HBO every month, and I just didn't get Wonder Woman 84. They just didn't put it in Canada.
I live in a country of pirates, so it doesn't make a difference.
Well, yeah. I don't like resorting to piracy unless it's the absolute only option, though. But
I don't like the fact that you guys let Toys R Us. That pisses me off.
Well, you want to trade Toys R Us for HBO?
And Krista told me you guys have these barbecue Doritos, which I've never. Maybe they were limited time here. Why have I never seen the barbecue Doritos?
I don't know.
That
I'm
sounds
not really a Doritos
disgusting.
expert.
Dude, you're asking the real questions. What the hell's a barbecue Dorito?
Exactly.
Do you guys have barbecue potato chips?
Yeah,
sure. Not Doritos.
I imagine
we're not Canada.
Well, okay, I'm imagining. I've never eaten them, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it's probably just Doritos with the barbecue seasoning. Call me crazy, but I think that's how the math adds up.
Every time you say you're going to go out on a limb, I have a little giggle to myself.
Yeah, I know. Except I do it organically. I don't force my way into that joke.
Man, now I just want barbecue Doritos. And Chris
By
is
the
in the
way,
chat.
Upper
Says
Echelon,
Ryan Dorito
I've
Farm.
lost a limb. That's the reason for that.
I knew the joke was- I was like, okay, there's an inside joke here.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Show me your
Yeah.
leg real quick.
Yeah, show him your leg, Mark.
I've got a puppy on me.
No one cares about the dog.
There it is. Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice. That's awesome. And you have a running leg too. You can kind of switch them out, right?
Yeah, the running leg I think is at the other end of the apartment though, so I'd have to leave to go get that.
Yeah,
It's so weird.
that's when Mark wants to channel his South African hero.
No, absolutely not. We don't.
What?
The
You don't like him?
the cripples don't acknowledge Pistorius anymore.
Why? Because
Mark,
the girl's not
OnlyFans
looking
win.
forward to her future.
OnlyFans win, Mark. Or you just post pictures of your nude cybernetic leg.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see how far behind we are on paying for this wedding. And speaking of which, everyone subscribe to X-Ray Girl on Twitch.
Mark's simping her out. And he's not pimping her out; he's simping her out. That's what's going on now on Twitch. I like
Yeah,
it.
permaban. Don't say that. That's a hate crime or something. I don't know.
We're on YouTube. You only can't say simp on Twitch.
Oh, right.
For now.
Never
For
mind.
now.
You're good.
Well, speaking of hate crimes, it was a hate crime before Cyberpunk came out to speak ill of CD Projekt Red, or at least that's how it seemed. And if anyone said anything bad about them, they got ratioed to hell and fucking
Ratio
demonized.
into the dirt, dude. That happened to you.
I know it did. They were ratioed into the fucking dirt. If you said anything that could be questioning the future of Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red, anything. Now it's a little bit different story after the release of Cyberpunk 2077. All of the shit that went into it, from the not advertising, but the misleading marketing, we could say, and then misleading their investors about the state of this game. And now we're in a state where Cyberpunk is the way it is. It is not a complete game. There's a lot of cut content that people are upset about as they continue to discover more and more things that were meant to be in this game that eventually got cut to give us this kind of bare bones version that we have. And obviously the console fiasco, the refunds, all of that. Well, there was a big leak on Reddit and I think on like GameFAQs boards or something that was supposedly from a Cyberpunk or CD Projekt Red employee saying, hey, these are all the ways that we're going to fix this game. We know that people want this. It's going to be a couple months, but it's going to be awesome. Well, CD Projekt Red came out and clarified, and they said, no, that's not the case. None of that is true, which ironically was disappointing to a lot of people. Now, Upper Echelon, you've talked a lot about Cyberpunk on your channel. What are kind of your general feelings of it now that we're a couple months past release? When do you think this game might get to the level where people want it, or do you think it'll ever be this game that was kind of at one time promised?
I think it'll get there. It'll get there. It's going to take a little more time than people want, but at the same time, it's kind of like trendy to hate it now. I mean, I'm on that trend too. I was like, I'm done defending them because the whole save issue where you could brick your save after 8 megabytes. That was like that. They fixed
and
it.
Their response was just don't pick up so many items.
Yeah, right. Like, don't play it. It's not meant to be played that long. I was like, wow, you advertised for years that it was the most immersive open world in history. But like, I don't know. It's also kind of weird though when people are like, oh, it's lost 79% of its player base. Like, yeah, they played it. They completed it though. Like, I don't know. Like, that's what happens. Like, they played the content. Now they're not playing anymore. That's not indicative of the game failing necessarily, even though I do think there's a lot of failures. But it's such a complicated topic too, because I wanted that leak to be true, right? Like, it just sounded good, but at the same time, maybe they had to refute it because they were talking trash about Keanu, so they had to come out and be like, nope, not true, because they were saying like, oh, well, Keanu was, making the game worse or something. It was just, I don't know. I feel like they had to come out with a stance if it wasn't true, or just stay silent if it was, and they came out and said it wasn't. But I'm hoping some of it is still true, I guess, and it will become what people want eventually. It's just, man, the fiasco at launch is gonna bite them for a while.
I think that Keanu point's pretty on point with them in terms of they had to. They couldn't have it floating around. You don't want any bad blood with Keanu. And I think that's one reason why they had to take a definitive stance on it as well. But I think he's right about it is kind of trendy at this point now to hate on him. I've kind of lost interest in the whole Cyberpunk situation. I mean, I bought the game. I bought it on PS5 or PS4 and on PC. But with everything going on, I've just kind of lost interest in it. There's so many videos out there of the game and the problems, but there's also good experiences. So when I watched Mark play it on Twitch, that was actually pretty cool to watch it played like that. But it's just a disaster right now. And I think 6 months from now, the game will be great.
Yeah. I don't know if it's necessarily trendy to hate it. I mean, a lot of people, myself included, just had a really bad experience with it and then just dropped it and moved on.
Well, what'd you play it on? What platform?
PS4.
Yeah, that's Yeah, so it's like two worlds, right? Like, I play on a high-powered gaming rig, so I can be like, oh, it worked for me, but then trying to invalidate what other people experienced because it worked for me, it's just not good. And people are doing that. They're like, well, I didn't experience this problem, so this problem doesn't exist. And I'm like, no, that's not exactly how it works. Like, the problem still exists.
Like, well, I played it on Xbox Series X and it only crashed 3 times for me. I don't know what your problem is.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, you got an Xbox Series X, like, through the scalping and through the shortages. Like, hey, that's a win for you, but like, not everybody has one. Like, yeah.
And also the 70
work as a play. Sorry, if it's advertised and sold to work on a PlayStation 4, well, it better fucking work on a PlayStation 4 then.
Yeah, and a lot of people are forgetting that this game was developed for the current generation of consoles, right? Like, its entire development cycle it's for this generation of consoles. Mm-hmm. Yes. And now it's like, well, just get the new one. I'm like, I didn't develop it for that though. So like, for instance, I've played, I don't know, like 120 hours or something, like a lot of hours. I've gotten my money's worth. So I can't sit here and say it's like a worthless game and it's so horrible. But at the same time, like, there's so many problems with it at launch. I mean, they're getting sued, for Christ's sakes, like there were real problems. So
yeah, and I think the intent of CD Projekt Red as well, like, when they come out with all these releases, they're like, listen, we didn't do our, we were so focused on, we weren't focused on previous gen. You're still screen sharing, Mark.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I got you.
See, what was weird though is I shared the application window, so I didn't think that minimizing it would do anything. Not that
That's
I
all
have
right.
anything embarrassing on my desktop. But the only reason
no one paused that and looked really hard at what's on Mark's desktop.
there's nothing. This is my work computer.
Photoshop.
But anyways, so the reason I shared that though is that was GameStop's thing, and with the I'll be able to make the points less well here because it's not up. But in this survey of like who's still playing Cyberpunk, the vast majority of the people who even answered it just never played it at all. So it's like, how useful is this data? Like,
Exactly.
And the Nope people,
yeah.
like, it's like, well, I mean, what do you mean by Nope? Could you also have hit the never played it at all? And then most of the people are like either still playing it and loving it or finished the game and just waiting on DLC, which is where I'm at. Like, I'm not still currently playing Cyberpunk, but I did enjoy my time with the game. That being said, I don't think anyone should buy it until like probably the summer, maybe the fall.
Well, and I think that's part of the problem too, is that there's no replayability for most people. That's what it seems like. It seems like that your life choices basically don't matter at all. You do have several different endings, but as far as most of the game, it doesn't seem like doing another playthrough, creating a different character really does anything. And I think a lot of people have problems with that based on kind of what was promised. And with CD Projekt Red trying to deflect so much of this, like, we didn't account for how much previous gen, we didn't realize it would be this bad. And they keep trying to say previous gen, last gen. That's what they say, last gen consoles.
It's current.
PS4 isn't last gen. It is current gen. Like that is what it is. There isn't enough available PS5s and Xbox Series X out there for you to call that current gen. That is still next gen. Mm-hmm. And the game was supposed to come out in April when PS5 and Xbox Series X weren't even on the fucking horizon. So the idea that they keep trying to spin it that way to me is bullshit. But I mean, I get what they're doing. As far as the trendy for the Cyberpunk hate train, I'll be honest. Listen, I started that motherfucker. I said, listen, I think that they're doing shady shit. I think they've lied to us, and I think they're getting away with it. And I got ratioed in the dirt, and I will never fucking forget that ever. So yeah, I'm going to be critical of them.
Now, do you have more anger towards Nintendo fans that ratioed you, or CDPR fans that ratioed you?
Nintendo fans didn't ratio me. The fucking dumbass Nintendo fans that, how dare I say that? Oh, Byleth, another Fire Emblem character, 27th Fire Emblem character, right? Those people, I don't give a fuck about them.
I'm just happy they finally added Sephiroth to Fire Emblem Fighters.
Mark ruined a Ryan rant.
Go ahead, Mark.
Is my audio still cracking?
If I dip out for like 5 minutes, there's a forced Windows update in 30 minutes. So
okay,
I
no
haven't
problem.
used this laptop before. Damn Windows.
Okay, no
I'll
problem.
be back though if it happens. Yes.
Okay, cool.
No worries.
Ryan will just bitch about Nintendo fans and CDPR fans while you're gone. So.
Probably.
CDPR fans are vicious, dude. I mean, I'm one of them. I'm a fan of. Well, I mean, not as much anymore, I guess, but like they can be vicious, man. They're so vicious.
I don't have a problem with fans being vicious. I'm vicious. I have a problem when people are fucking retarded. That's my problem. So that's when I start to have a problem with it. But yeah, I will never never forget when you ratioed me. I will never forget, and I will continue reminding people that maybe we should have questioned a little bit about what's coming out with CD Projekt Red, and we'll continue to do.
They really shot themselves in the foot though with their CEO that was like it runs surprisingly well on current gen consoles or something. That's like the tidbit that you can't forget, because surprisingly well. Okay, what were you expecting then? Like, holy shit, man! Like, if this is surprisingly well, then I don't know, man. That was a really weird statement to make.
That to me is the biggest difference between like when people compare it to like Fallout 76 and Anthem. The game's not like that, right?
Yeah, no,
maybe on console it is for some people, a lot of people, but on PC the game's not like that. It's not broken like that. But I think a big difference is, Anthem had the beta and everyone knew what a fucking shit show it was. They're like, we're going to try to fix all this, but realistically, people kind of knew what it was going to be. They weren't told that it was something different the entire time. And I feel like a lot of people feel betrayed and lied to by a company that they put all their trust in because they're for the gamers. And that's how they marketed themselves. That's really why I feel there's so much backlash.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I mainly was interested in the game mainly for I got killed by CDPR fans a long time ago. When I did call it woke, because I got to get my woke videos out there. But I also do think that they put a lot of attention in the marketing about like the gender neutral shit and whatever you could do with the creator character. It really
can't be gender neutral.
No, I'm just saying like the way you can have a big cock, you can not have a cock, you can identify like whatever. Like why was that even a part of it? I don't understand why that was even a thing. What uses your penis after you create the character in the game?
Oh, it was the only thing Lethal Lightning enjoyed about the game.
Exactly, and that's my point. Like, why even put that into your advertising? It was almost like they were trying to make a point, like you can have a dick or you can not have a dick or you could be this and I'm like, what does it matter? Like, what is the point of it?
I don't remember them putting out a trailer being like genital customization. No, they talked about it in interviews.
They talked about it. I
think a lot of it's left over from like the pen and paper, like it's based on a pen and paper RPG, and I think that's one of the biggest disconnects is that it really wasn't as much of an RPG as people were expecting. But it's left over from that, like customized as much as possible. Like that's really what it was about. But yeah, I agree. It doesn't actually have any influence on anything.
Yeah, and but anyway, the point is I was just like, well, I got the game because I did feel it had this incredible hype, and I was expecting a game of a Grand Theft Auto level that people, and maybe people will be playing it, 5 and 6, 7 years from now. It doesn't seem like that's the case anymore, but I do think it's going to be a situation
I think it absolutely will be.
You think so? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Like Witcher 3 was a mess at launch. And to be honest, I think Witcher 3 still runs like trash on PS4 and Xbox One. But like over the course of the years with them fixing Witcher 3, which they're not even done doing because they are giving everyone who owns Witcher 3 on PlayStation or Xbox the next gen upgrades for free, and releasing a ray tracing patch for PC as well. So like the thing about CD Projekt, which is why I will often stick up for them in the face of everyone like jumping on the CD Projekt's literally the worst company ever train, is because they do a lot of stuff that is very pro-consumer. And granted, I'm not giving them any kind of pass on dishonest marketing, on the state that they launched Cyberpunk in. Those things are all very bad things they did, and they deserve to be criticized for. But I think when people are like, oh, they're literally the worst company ever, I'd be like, if you want to honestly make an honest argument that they're worse than EA, like I don't know what to tell you. Like it's like, well, I mean, I don't know. Like you could hold that opinion, I suppose, but if your argument is you should not support CD Projekt because they lied about a game and launched it poorly, you should boycott them. I honestly don't think you should be playing video games because there's no such thing as a perfect company in this industry. Like they all do shady shit from time to time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think they need to be held accountable.
Really bad too. Like I was, what was it? The 8 megabyte save thing. I was like, this is horrible. This is horrible. And they fixed it, I think, like the next day or something. And I was not expecting. I thought it was going to take weeks. Let's be honest. I thought it was going to take weeks, and I thought it was this huge deal. And then I was like, oh, okay. Like, damn. So like again, not giving them a pass, but like you're right. Like you can't say they're like worse than EA, and it's stuff like that. It's hyperbolic, and I think it's like way too far.
Yeah, and like what I was saying, even in the lead up, because I the entire time, like I was saying, listen, I'm excited for this. However, look at this stuff. I feel like if other companies were doing stuff like this, we would be talking about it more, but we're not because we trust them.
Yeah,
and like that to me was the biggest thing. Is all like even though you put them on a higher tier, if they're doing things that you would normally call out, I think you have to stay consistent and call that out. And when you don't, it leads to what we had. And they do have a long path forward to kind of get back to that point where they were. They can if they continue to do stuff.
I don't think they'll ever get there because they were basically in like untouchable territory. Like they were just the golden boys that were doing everything incredible and what should be the shining example that like all the rest of the industry should look at. And now it's like, well, you can never go back to perfect once you've made a mistake, right? Like that's kind of how averages work. So I think they could still end up being one of the better companies in the industry, but I don't think they'll ever be held in the high regard that they were.
Yeah, the hype was unreasonable. Yeah.
What's the latest update on the lawsuit?
I just know it's happening. Yeah, I don't know the update on I don't know if it's going to win or anything like that. Like, what was it? Fallout 76 got sued. class action or something. It didn't go anywhere. So
class action from Fallout 76, I think, was for players.
Correct.
Where this is actually investors. And
this is shareholders? And
yes,
stuff?
that's why this is
that has more teeth. Yeah, that has way more teeth then.
And there was a lot of confusion, like when I would make videos about it too. People were like, well, they didn't have any, no one from didn't like Anthem filed a lawsuit. Why are these pussies filing lawsuits? It's like, no, you don't understand. It's shareholders who were told by the CEO literally a month before release the game runs surprisingly well on console, who were like lied to the entire time by the executives. That's who's suing. That's people that
all game, yeah.
Exactly. I still think it's going to be really hard for anyone to win a lawsuit against CDPR. Even if it continues to go like that. But
Hoglaw goes into a lot of detail about it. If anyone wants to learn more about it, he basically goes over exactly how the lawsuit's written, what they have grounds on, and where it's just kind of. I think that like the ultimate takeaway, I don't want to like distill his point down to one line, but is that a lot of it seems like Polish business lawyers saying, hey, want to make some money? We could sue these guys. So I personally don't think it's going to amount to all that much based on what I've learned about it, but I'm also not a lawyer, so who knows? Well,
there's one going on in Poland, there's one going on in the United States because it's like CD Projekt Red SA or whatever is the one that's mirrored in American markets, and there are people that are invested in that. Those are the people in America who are coming together. And it takes a while because like 5 different things filed lawsuits, and they have to go through this entire process to find out which law firm will have the rights to be the ones to take it forward. So it will be a long process.
Never forget, CDPR lied and people died. Mark's favorite hashtag.
I dodged
literally nobody died.
Gonna invest. I was like, oh, like Cyberpunk's gonna be huge. Maybe I should invest. And there was no volume and traffic on my like broker or whatever. So I didn't. I dodged a bullet on that. Oh man, how much market cap got lost? Like what, 20% of their share price in like 1 week or something? I don't know.
It was down nearly 40% from like December 4th. Right when it was at its hype, when everybody was getting amped up for its release. And then it fell about 40% from that high.
Well, as I was saying, not a bad idea to buy some CD Projekt stock and then just sell it whenever they announce the next Witcher game, because that will be above where it is today. You'll make something.
I did see that there was. I didn't click on it there. I saw there was talk of DLC coming soon. What's the go with that?
I was here in February, but I think they should push it back. I think they should fix the problems before they even consider any DLC. They might do some free DLC like cosmetics and weapons and things like that, like stuff that they basically have ready to go, and just be like, here's a little bit of new content. But I don't think we'll see an expansion until probably September, maybe October at the earliest.
And they do proper expansions too, so it's not like it's not going to be a little piddly thing. Like if they do an expansion, at least based on track record, but it would be like a proper huge expansion, which means you have to have the basic foundation there before you do that. So yeah, I agree. It should be priority fix foundation. But
Witcher 3, Hearts of Stone, and Blood and Wine were both very significant expansions. And I think calling them expansions is the correct term for them. Whether they weren't just DLC, the way like a lot of games, it's like, oh, here's DLC that I can knock out in an hour. It's like no, it's like Blood and Wine was almost an entirely new game. Yeah. Hearts of Stone was pretty short, but by short in Witcher 3, I'm still talking like 10 hours. But Blood and Wine was like 30.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stock price on it. It's almost half of what it was. Jeez. It was at $31 was the peak on December 4th. It's down today at $16.
I have a feeling it will at least go up to 20 if they said, "Oh, we're making another Witcher game."
Probably.
I mean,
they shouldn't do it now.
What it is now, like that's. I think that's absurd. I think being off this much. I mean, it's kind of deserved in the sense that like it didn't meet expectations, and there was a lot of like shady stuff in the pre-marketing or whatever. But I think that's off too much. That's way too low for them. Well, like considering their track record.
And that's what too. A bunch of people, when I'm like, when I made a video talking about how the game sales were disappointing because they projected 17 million sales, and they hit 13. That stock price is all built on expectations. The stock price is already built in for what they think you will do, and when you come in below those expectations, it is disappointing. Thus, your stock will fall. Like that's how it works. So 13 million is a shit ton of copies to sell. That doesn't make it not disappointing. You know,
disappointing for projections, not disappointing in reality. They recoup their investment and much more. But yeah, disappointing for projections. How many copies do you think got refunded, you guys?
I have no idea, and they will never fucking tell us.
Yeah, I mean,
at most, I'm gonna say 20%, and I'm gonna guess most of them were on PlayStation.
I was gonna say probably 15% max, just on percentage, because I don't want to get into like actual number. But I'd say about 15%. I don't think they were as widespread as it probably seemed. Although 15%, even up to 20, that's a pretty significant number, though.
Well, if they still had 13 million copies sold after the refunds, like with the refunds factored in, then that's like
no,
like,
they
that
wouldn't
means like
tell the refunds. They specifically said in their investor call, we probably won't share data on refunds. So they're only going to announce total sales. They're never going to say how much actually got refunded. I think it's probably in the vicinity of 1 or 2 million, but 1 million probably at most.
I could have sworn they specifically said with refunds factored in, there's still 13 million copies sold.
Correct.
Oh, really?
I mean,
and that's pretty big because last I heard they were just not going to tell people, which is smart. You don't.
I think they said they weren't going to say how many copies on GOG were refunded because those are the most valuable ones. Because GOG, I talk about it a lot. It's the PC game storefront that CD Projekt owns. So they get 100% of the money when you buy the game on GOG. It's like buying a Half-Life game on Steam.
Yeah. You guys are both right because what they put out is the number of total sales they have, but they did not say how many were refunded. That's what is happening, right? So they put out the total with refunds, 13 million is their estimate, but they didn't tell you. But 3 million were refunded, so we did sell 16. Then 3 million were refunded.
Maybe they didn't want to say because if none of them were refunded, it would have like broke Red Dead Redemption 2's records. So they're like, yeah,
they didn't want to be like, yeah, we did really well, but not quite.
Yeah, and we'll see. I tend to think that we're in a bubble. The amount of people that are watching YouTube and stuff for like the Cyberpunk content, I really don't think that that's the majority of people who are out there purchasing this game. That doesn't count the fucking people that went out and bought it for their family, for their kids, who then opened it on December 25th and were like, I can't return this anymore. So I think that for the most part, it's probably less than 10% and well less if I had to guess.
I think it'll be interesting to see when the DLC comes out, if like that comes with its own share of issues or if that launches in a buggy way or anything like that.
I think I mean, again, the speculation, but I don't think there's any chance they haven't learned their lesson from this. Like,
I love how Mark qualifies it as speculation.
Well, I mean, like, because otherwise, if like it does launch, like knock on wood, does launch totally broken.
Fucking make a definitive claim. Say it's not going to do it. I have confidence in CDPR. Don't
no.
This is
Jeremy,
speculation because I am not Mark Zero.
I make definitive claims with evidence, Jeremy. I don't have evidence, so I'm not making a definitive claim. Jeez, ran out of breath. I need to do more cardio.
We'll see. Like wow. the idea of a Cyberpunk Online, a multiplayer Cyberpunk that is using this fucking Night City as the framework is scary as fuck. Like they have a lot of work to do to fix this shit before they come out with their expansion, and then they have to worry about Cyberpunk Online, which will include microtransactions. So I think they really need to take their time with everything. They've made a lot of money from this despite everything that happened. So they just need to take their time and get it right and not repeat those mistakes.
Yep.
Let me catch up with some of these super chats. Crowfu for $5 until they start pandering to the actual fans, not the idiots who don't even buy the products. I'll keep my pirate hat on. Talking about HBO Max, I believe. Yeah, Wonder Woman 84 was terrible.
Yep.
Drunk 3PO's loaf of bread balls for Canadian $2. Drunk left me in the fridge. Now I'm all stiff.
Oh my!
Thank you, Pauly D for €2.99. Gabe Logan's run was always nuts. Like how? Does anyone know what that means?
Oh, Jeremy has Siphon Filter in the background.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Sometimes I forget what games. I've got Gears 1 and Siphon Filter.
There you go. Roger
Gabe
Haynes.
Logan is the protagonist
Yeah.
of Siphon Filter. In case anyone didn't
And
catch
if
that.
anybody has not played the Siphon Filter games, you need to do it. I've been on a PlayStation kick lately, like PS1.
Oh,
I don't think I ever played that one.
You haven't played Siphon Filter?
yeah.
I don't think so.
That studio's newest game is Days Gone.
No shit. Yeah.
Well, I did play Days
Sony
Gone.
Bend.
Well, they just had everybody leave. They just had the two guys that were head of that studio leave at Bend.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, because there were people talking about the possibility of a Days Gone 2, which I don't know if would have worked out. I enjoyed the game. I think it got a lot. I think people were a little disappointed in it, but overall it was really solid.
I'm actually planning on playing it sometime this year because I hear it runs a lot better on PS5, and I didn't ever play it. Also, I have it free with that PlayStation Collection thing, so I might give it a shot. If I like it, I'll play the whole thing, make a video.
Yeah, I think
I never got around to playing, and I really want to play. The second Nier game, I played the first one, never finished it, but really liked it. And I think they're remaking it.
You played Nier, like the one on PS3?
I played it on Xbox 360.
Oh, 360, yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, Nier Automata it takes place like 300 years later. It doesn't really connect to the original game much at all, but it's incredible. Like, it's really good. It's just a game that you sort of have to play. I mean, they call it separate playthroughs, with the third one being like a sequel to the game. So you don't really get the full story until you've done 3 playthroughs of it. And
cool
but
with
the storytelling in it is really solid. So
it was really solid in the first one as well. I just never finished it, but I know everything that happens.
I know you would play it on PS4, so you don't have to worry about it. But if anyone here plays Nier Automata on PC, you need to download and apply the FAR mod, or it's going to be weird. It's like FAR, FAR. Trust me.
there you go.
So like Raylos are weird?
It was weirder than Raylos. They did not. Square Enix just shat out the Steam port of Nier Automata. They didn't do any work on it at all. But luckily, the benefit to PC games is that then fans can fix the game that developers don't care about enough.
Film Gobs in the chat says, "Get ready, boys! Blackpink concert on YouTube set for 31st of January." There we go.
Shaker here.
What's up, Film Gob?
What's up, Film Gob?
Where was I at? Roger Haynes for Canadian $5. We got ketchup Doritos too in Canada. You know, Krista sent me ketchup, or she was trying to send me ketchup potato chips, and
You sent them to me too.
they fucking exploded in the plane because of the pressure. So it was just a bunch of fucking crumbs. It was literally the shittiest thing ever. Then everything else in that box was just covered in like grease. Brendan Bellman for $2. What do you think of Mr. Plinkett's reviews of the prequel trilogy?
I've never cared about them. I mean, I've never really finished any of them. Everybody references them. I'm not a big I appreciate Red Letter Media for like small snippets of their stuff, and I think they're great. I have nothing against them. Just never really been a consistent viewer of their channel.
I watch a lot of their stuff. I didn't agree with some of the shit. Like the prequels have valid criticisms for sure.
Absolutely.
But you know, you can't deny that there's a story that George wanted to tell, and he told his story. And I think a lot of people just didn't like that. But as far as their reviews of the prequels, I think that a lot of the criticisms are valid. I just don't necessarily agree with a lot of like how they approach it. I do like those guys. I do watch Red Letter Media a lot, even though I don't agree with them on everything. But you know what they have and the discussion they have, I think is pretty good. So,
and Sports Wars guys are watching the playoffs. I have the playoffs on right in front of me. I'm sure. I don't know if Ryan has it on next to him, but
I have a fucking stream to run for you, Jeremy.
I'm watching the Bills Colts game right now. Bills are up 7-3.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers, Krista Nova for $3.99 with the Mark face. Eye lips eye. Thank you, Krista. Mikey Gussler for $5. Here's a good question. When do you guys think PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X will be available for everyone to buy and not have to worry about scalpers again?
Oh, fuck me.
Oh, did you see what the scalpers are saying? They're like, we are the future. We're going to be coming back harder every single release. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
They're just shitting on everybody.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Honestly, the worst thing about the pandemic, I think, was the console launches, because in-person launches would have mitigated so much of the scalping. because
Yep.
the like online only buying just made it so that people that know how to create bots that will buy up all the units just
And it was wave based. They just kept doing like small launches, and each retailer had their own one. So it was like they got bought out, boom, 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 on each platform, like as it launched. Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess probably, I feel like probably holidays 2021, we might, I mean, I have never, and have they even, how many copies are they giving like retailers? I haven't seen one in a store at this point.
It just depends. So, like, I will give credit to GameStop because with all the shit that was going down with the scalpers, like, I can't believe I managed to get one from Walmart randomly in that queue without getting picked up by the bots. But what GameStop did is instead of making them available online, they took them to their stores and they just were like, hey, guys, just so you know, in 2 hours from now, our stores are going to be selling limited quantities of PS5. So get there if you can. And at least the people that actually were able to get there got them physically.
That's only so they can ask you if you want to pre-order a fucking game coming out. Like,
sure, but they had been doing it. They had been doing it exclusively online.
No,
though.
I know, but I've got to the point where I really can't. I cringe when I walk into GameStop because they just go so overboard on the pre-order and the fucking card, and like as annoying as it is to be a GameStop employee because of the stupid questions that the soccer moms will call you up and ask you these really like stupid, obvious questions. The GameStop employees will ask you the obvious question too, like, "Hey, Jeremy, is there any games you're looking forward to?" Fuck you. I don't fucking want to pre-order. Fuck off. I don't want to pre-order, and I don't want your fucking card. Just give me my game and shut the fuck up. That's how I feel about it. I have friends that work at GameStop. I appreciate what they do, but fuck the GameStop template of just overselling the fuck out of everything. I don't shop there unless I absolutely have to because it's just annoying as fuck. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, I just tell them no.
You don't? You're like, fuck off, bitch. Fucking losers. Fucking pussies.
No, I don't. When they ask me, is there anything you're looking forward to today? Blah blah blah, and I'm like, no. that's pretty much it. And then I pay for my shit.
Yeah, a while ago, one of them was trying to tell me like, "Oh yeah, Cyberpunk launches on the 7th." I was like, "No, I think it's the 10th," and they were like, "No, it's the 7th." And I was like, "I don't know, man. Like, my job is video games. I think it's the 10th."
To be fair, there's been so many release dates for Cyberpunk. It's easy to get confused. And speaking of the PS5, it's actually interesting. There's obviously been stock issues, but PS5 had a big launch when you're talking about numbers, except in Japan. In Japan, it had the lowest numbers of console launches ever, other than PSP. That's the only thing that like launched less.
Yeah, I have no way to quantify that. That makes no sense to me. It's kind of
I know. It really is.
Do we know how much of it is due to stock issues, though?
That's kind of what I think it is. I think they have just focused more on everywhere else than Japan. I just don't think they have the stock. I'm sure the demand is there in Japan still, but it seems strange. And for a lot of people in Japan, they feel like Sony's continuing to separate from Japan when it comes to like censoring their games, when it comes to the focus on them as a market, everything. You still have them vastly outselling Xbox Series X. Well, I think it's like 7-1. But even that, when you look at how much PS4 sold comparison to Xbox One in Japan, even that's kind of tighter than it should be. To me, it has to be the focus on stock. It can't be like, I don't believe there's PS5s just sitting around
on
Japan.
Shelves,
yeah. There's no way. There's no way they have stock in like on shelves and no one's buying it. I can't believe that that's true.
I can't believe. Yeah, I completely agree.
I think a lot of it's censorship. Like they really do not like that stuff over there, especially seeing their own games get censored. That's definitely going to turn them off over there. I think that plays a bigger part than what I think a lot of people realize.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that kind of goes into like PlayStation's never been big time in Japan, has it? How did the PS4 do? Do we know? Like,
it vastly overperformed the Xbox One, right? Yeah, it was like
Xbox One was so painfully bad. It was incredibly bad.
It absolutely demolished stuff. It like even remember when we would always look at the charts and it'd be like, oh look, this week Xbox sold 7 consoles in Japan.
Yeah, so bad.
And it'd
so
be like
bad.
21,000 for PlayStation 4. But at the end of the day, Switch is still selling more than any of them right now because they have more stock. But which is crazy. I was looking at PS5 launch. Was like comparing launch to launch, way surpassed Switch launches, like by over 1 million units as far as those first couple weeks, even with all the stock issues. But right now, Nintendo's grinding and people are still buying Switches, which I'm sure Jeremy will tell us.
GOAT. Nintendo's the GOAT. So Switch will be the #1 selling Nintendo console of all time by probably the beginning of 2022, I would think.
I mean, I wonder who's their manufacturer, right? Because Foxconn and Flex or whatever, like the manufacturers for Sony and Microsoft have had problems in China specifically, and production issues. And I don't think Nintendo uses the same people. So I think that's why they're having less issues and they can just pump out more stock.
They have had a lot of stock issues too at the same time. I mean, they've had not as bad. I mean, again, launch. I mean, once the PS5 and the Xbox One X get rolling, I mean, I can't see them having the stock issues that Nintendo has had. Nintendo's had stock issues this year. I mean, if you go back to February, March, I mean, or last year, yeah. If you go back to February, March, I mean, Nintendo Switch was completely sold out everywhere. There were no Switches to be bought on Amazon, in stores, anywhere.
Right at the beginning of the pandemic, it was sold out.
It was bad. And it's continued. I mean, I, for the first time, just saw Switches in a Walmart for the first time here in a while. Apparently, they were I remember My Nerdy Home was trying to find one for several months. They were just couldn't find them. So they've had their own stock issues too. But I do think that with the PS5, is simply a lot. Like if there were PS5s on the shelf for every person that wanted, or even 50% of the people that wanted them, you would be seeing insane numbers right now. There's no doubt about that.
Also, video games are on the up and up, man. Everybody's staying home and just wants entertainment. So I think it'd be sky high if they had the stock.
Yeah, I mean, because this is kind of reminding me of the PS2 almost. Do you remember how bad it was for PS2 for the launch? I mean, you couldn't find them anywhere. There were nowhere to be found. I don't know. With the whole pandemic is creating a lot of problems too with the manufacturing. So it's going to be weird because I have not seen. Has anybody seen one in a store? Like just when you walk in, has anybody seen one? I haven't. Anybody in the chat seen PS5 or an Xbox Series X?
Neither.
And I'm just curious in the chat, has anybody seen either one of these systems just on the shelf for sale? Because I haven't.
I don't think they've been selling them in person.
I don't think so either.
By actual like policy, they're or at least that's what every retailer around me was saying. That at least in Canada, though, Sony apparently told both The Source, which is a store we have here, GameSpot, and Best Buy and Walmart, that there will be no in-store sales of the PlayStation 5 for the foreseeable future. That it is online only.
That's what I figured.
I mean, online sells out in minutes, right? So I can't. Imagine
that's
ever be anything.
That's the thing. So I'm like, okay, well, that's awesome. Because I actually booked the day off when the PS5 came out because I was planning to just be one of the people.
So we got somebody said yes in Germany, and then somebody says Montreal at Walmart, yes, but it's been a long while.
See, that's weird because Montreal's in Canada, and Walmart said that they have a Canada-wide policy to only be selling it online, unless it was someone returned one.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome if you're like sitting there when someone brings back their PS5. They're like, yeah, my kid ordered this online. I didn't know they did it. I'm just here to return it.
You got to think, if you're a Walmart employee, you'd be like, yeah, I'll be buying that immediately after my shift.
Yes.
And then just sell it for like
posts for Craigslist, fucking $1,000.
Well, especially, not even if you sell it for like a reasonable price, you'll sell it like immediately. Like if you went $50 above retail, then like
fuck that. I'm selling mine to Wings of Redemption for $1,000.
Can't take this shit anymore, man. I just want to play some games.
I'm gonna make Wings buy my PS5 that I scalped.
I got banned from his chat again.
What did you say this time?
I can't remember.
Can't keep up.
I got banned, and then I put in a request to be unbanned, and they unbanned me, and then I got banned again.
But what are you saying? Are you probably just memeing?
Yeah, I'm memeing the fuck out. How can you not?
Now,
Does anyone
here,
watch?
It's like watching a DSP stream. We're all there to do the same fucking thing.
Yeah, I was just saying, does anyone watch Rings of Redemption unironically? Like,
No.
How many people watch your streams on Twitch?
Usually around 400 to 500, from what I can tell. I am following him. So I can see what he's online.
We should raid him sometime from Geeks and Gamers.
I don't think he can. He probably doesn't allow raids from like random people, if I had to guess, for that exact reason. We are gonna get to all the super chats, guys, but I did want to show this one just came in. A big super chat from Lou DiMarzo for $50. Apologies for bringing this up. I thought Jeremy should know Trump is declassifying everything, including Clinton's emails. The 6th was meant to happen to weed out the traitors. Next 12 days, things are going down.
Do you actually think he'll declassify everything?
I hope so. I mean,
fantastic.
I don't want us to go too far down this one here on this channel. Obviously, Geeks and or DDayCobra, and I'm being careful too because right now I don't want to lose my channel, but I have a lot of opinions on this topic. I might, and I am on Rumble along with Ryan. We have Rumble accounts, so I may make a Rumble video, but I really want to talk more, and I don't want to have to be restricted. But all I will say is I will continue to support Donald Trump, and I'm not going to let anybody make me feel, bad about that or weaponize that opinion. That's why I continue to speak out. If you don't like Trump, that's perfectly cool. The question is, can you accept that I do? And most people can't that don't like him. But yeah, we'll have to get further into that on another, either another channel or anything like that. But I keep seeing people say that. I'm on Twitter right now just trying to look and see if what's going on, but I'm not.
Trump's not on there anymore. That's why you're not seeing it on Twitter.
Well, I'm seeing if anybody else is retweet or reposting his stuff so they can get banned too. It's bullshit. But the answer here that I can tell you all, and I want to give an update because we got a lot of viewers here. First, we have Upper Echelon Gaming here. If you have not subscribed to his channel, please do so. Amazing content. Thank you for being here, by the way. And yeah, so we are officially now developing our app for geeksandgamers.com. That has been underway for a few weeks now. It's probably going to take about 3 to 4 months to complete, but there will be an alpha and a beta testing phase. Whenever we get to that point, we'll be having some of our premium members from the website sign up to help us kind of do the testing phase of that. So go to geeksandgamers.com. You can go over there into the forums and you can have any discussions you want outside of doxing and violent threatening and things like that. We're going to let pretty much anything go over there. So go over there. It's free. If you want to sign up for premium, then you can do that. And then the app will be soon. And the app will hopefully be something that will be your primary source of communication with a private message system and push notifications and all of that. So we're looking forward to it. It will not be a native app. It will be a PMA. So it will be directly downloadable from our website. We're not going through the Google Play or the Apple Store. It'll be directly on the website.
That means I can't use it.
Why?
Because I have an iPhone.
You can still do it.
You can't install things on an iPhone just like willy-nilly.
Yeah, you can. The developers told us you can specifically install this through Apple.
Huh? Okay. I was under the impression that most things to install through Apple, you have to go through iOS.
Yeah, so when Frank's whole issue with not wanting to go this direction was because Apple wouldn't allow it. Well, the developer we spoke with, someone that Uche met at the Super Bowl party in Miami, who was a big fan of this channel and has a tech company, he told us that we can, the way that they're going to develop it. It will be downloadable through Apple, iOS, whatever. So
the real question is, why the fuck do you have an iPhone?
I use my phone to use like Facebook and Twitter, and that's pretty much it. I don't really care about the phone all that much. I know like people are saying, like, oh, you can do all these things, you can play all these emulated games. I'm like, guys, I'm not playing games on my phone. Okay, like I play games at home on my PC. I don't give a shit about the
Mark
features of the phone.
for Mario Kart Tour. He's like, guys, Mario Kart Tour runs at 60 frames per second on my iPhone.
Yeah, like I literally play 0 games on my phone ever. Like if it can run YouTube,
if you're not Blizzard's target audience, is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, guys not even have phones. Yeah.
The idea is for us to have a native app as well, but that's down the road. And I don't want to have the restrictions of the Apple and the Google Play Store but that's down the road. We are working on that as well, but that's the next phase.
Upper echelon. Do you have an iPhone or an Android?
Everything's really choppy right now. Did you just ask me if I have an iPhone or an Android?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have an Android. Yeah.
Good man. Good man.
You're a normal person.
So you're a Chad. Got it. Yeah. Chad. Yeah.
I would say Johnny Lawrence would have an Android, but he probably just have a flip phone. I know he has. I know he has.
My whole family's got iPhones. We have like iPhone messenger groups that we're in and stuff like that. So honestly, like if I did switch, it would cause a gigantic pain in the ass with me having to teach my mom a fucking 1,000 things in order for her to communicate with me again. And that headache is probably what's keeping me using iPhones because it's just like I don't care.
Leave her behind.
No, but I don't. Ryan, like what you guys really don't understand though, I don't really care. Like I use my phone for like
That must be why you're yelling.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
well, okay. I'm because I'm getting tension is why I'm yelling. But I just use my phone for like basic
Mark,
apps.
you are a console peasant of phones.
Yeah,
You have
sure.
no standard. You
Okay,
have
yeah,
no
sure.
standard.
No, yeah, but unlike actual console peasants, I'm not trying to make the argument as to why iPhone's better.
iPhone
Right
is
now.
the Nintendo of phones.
Yeah, if this is Nintendo and it was Jeremy, he'd be like, well, I mean, like Nintendo, it is just better than PC, even though it can hardly run its own games because you can't play those games on PC. There you go, I win. You can't use iTunes on an Android. I win. Like I mean, it's like,
Can if you jailbreak your iPhone though.
oh, wait, if you jailbreak your iPhone, you can use
can do
iTunes
anything.
on an Android.
No, I didn't hear you say that part. I was just talking about with the iPhone. If you jailbreak it, though, you can basically make it an Android. Is what I'm
No,
saying.
and like honestly, I hate the fact that iTunes is proprietary software, especially because you can use it on a Windows PC. So like, if you don't need a Mac to use iPhones, I don't understand why you can't use iTunes on an Android phone. Like,
Gaming with Geeks
I actually
podcast.
never thought
We
of
have-
that. You're right. It's on Windows. That's weird. It's on Windows and you can't use it on an Android. That's
yeah.
Interesting. I never thought of that.
Your phone's fucking trash, Mark.
Well, I mean, like it makes calls. It's also like a 4-year-old iPhone. I'm using an iPhone
Makes
10.
calls. He said it. Makes calls.
Well,
It makes calls. I can check my Twitter on it, and that's really like all I need to do.
Yeah. Boomer Mark. It makes calls.
Don't care about mobile all that much, Mark, is the actual answer.
Don't care about mobile Mark.
All right, that's it, Jeremy. No more tech support on your PC. You got a problem? Call Krista.
I'm fucked then.
Speaking of Nintendo, this seems like a good opportunity to bring this up. That Microsoft tried to buy Nintendo back in like 2000 and got laughed out of the room. Jeremy, you were excited about this story because it involves Nintendo.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing where people always want Nintendo to have this partnership or only develop software so they can have better hardware or whatever.
God,
And
look at
I'm
this
a-
controller. God.
I remember that
The Duke.
controller. Fuck.
Honestly, a pretty good controller for first-person shooters.
Damn, that controller was ridiculous. I didn't hate it. It was a giant controller though. But yeah, I mean, and I get the argument with people wanting Nintendo to have better hardware to run their software, but I don't want anybody else involved in Nintendo's business. I want Nintendo to continue doing their thing. They're weird. They have weird, business practices. They are just kind of aloof from. They're very tone deaf, but they still produce great games, and they don't release broken games, and they still they don't break the rules of their own IPs, and that's what I want them to continue to do. It would have been interesting though with Microsoft, and this was fresh off of their failed attempt to partner with Sony, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Nintendo is the one who botched that, and they did have like Sony. The Nintendo PlayStation does exist. Like they are out in the wild. The like test units of it. It was basically a CD-ROM add-on for. It was the Sega CD, but for Super Nintendo. And then Nintendo was eventually like, no, we don't want to go this way. We want to stick with cartridges, and we want to go 64-bit instead of 32. And they kind of created their greatest competitor in that move. It was like it's kind of one of the all-time like, oh, this moment in history in gaming things.
I still don't consider Sony and Microsoft their competitors. I think they're playing different games. I don't think that's like I consider
They
Xbox
weren't
Sony.
during the PS2 GameCube era or the N64 PlayStation era.
Well, I mean, yes and no. At the end of the day, PlayStation 2 sold because it was the cheapest DVD player on the market. That has nothing to do with Nintendo can't compete. That's not a competition.
Yeah, but the GameCube was directly competing with the PS2 and the Xbox. Like that was when all three systems were essentially the same.
Well, I understand that, but the thing that separated the PlayStation 2 from everything was that it was more than a video game system, and that's just never going to be Nintendo. They're never going to they're still always going to be first and foremost a video game system. It might be gimmicky at times, it might be cringe like the Wii, but it's still
the Wii.
In the first couple years, I would say that the DVD aspect is why PS2 was outselling both. Well, not necessarily because Xbox is a DVD player too, but
with the fucking controller,
it got most of its ground because like PS2 was my first DVD player, even like my family's. And but I think that like once that generation was going, they were all getting most of the same games. They would all perform almost identically. The Xbox versions usually look the best, but for the most part, there wasn't major differences between like different versions unless they did things like Soul Calibur 2, which is like, oh, if you buy the GameCube version, you can play as Link, and if you buy it on PlayStation, you be Heihachi, and Xbox gets Spawn. But for the most part, Soul Calibur 2 is Soul Calibur 2 on all three of those consoles. Like, whereas the Switch version of Dark Souls is not like the PS4 version of Dark Souls. Like they're very, very different.
You said this was 2000, right? Like,
this was before they came out with the Xbox. So here it is. It says, while the company implored third-party developers to work on the Xbox, Microsoft also considered using its considerable financial might to buy developers, and they set their sights high, approaching Nintendo. Microsoft was laughed out of the room. Quote, they just laughed their asses off. Like, imagine an hour of someone just laughing at you. That was kind of how the meeting went.
Well, I mean, especially at the time, like with Microsoft having no involvement in gaming outside of just like having Windows. I would probably laugh at them if they were saying like, hey, buy Nintendo at like the height of N64's popularity. Like,
yeah, that's why I checked for 2000, because I can't imagine them getting laughed out of any room now with regards to like an acquisition, especially after the Bethesda stuff, right? They're going for acquisitions. Like that's what 2000 makes sense though.
Yeah, it says the pitch was their hardware stunk, and compared to Sony PlayStation, it did. So the idea was, listen, you're much better at the game portions of it with Mario and all that stuff. Why don't you let us take care of the hardware? But it didn't work out.
Where's the lie there, though? Like,
I know it sounds like Mark made the pitch.
Yeah, I heard that. Honestly, I mean, clearly, it would be interesting to see what would happen now if Microsoft made that approach to them. I don't think Nintendo bites it. I think Nintendo's still going to have the same response.
I don't know. I don't think they bite, but I don't think they laugh them out of the room. I mean, Microsoft's a behemoth. Like, I don't think anybody's getting laughed out of the room when they make a deal or try to make a deal.
In the Wii U era, I think that would have been much more of a possibility, like a realistic possibility. Whereas now, like
Switch... the Wii U era, though, but that was also the DS 3DS era, which they were still breaking records from that side.
Well, but I mean, if they said, "Hey, we'll buy you, and you can keep on making portable hardware if you want, just like under our umbrella with our resources and our hardware knowledge to help you," I don't know. Like I think that that was a time that I could have seen that happening more so than now. Where Switch is doing well enough that I don't think Nintendo would consider being bought out. But I mean, who knows like what's going on in the future? But I think that a better idea would be partnering with them and having it so that Xbox Live becomes the online infrastructure for Nintendo consoles. Because they were talking about doing that for a while. It's also why games like Ori and Cuphead were starting to show up on Switch. And they did that thing. I think it was with Fortnite. It was Fortnite or Rocket League, where they basically like trolled PlayStation and saying like, yeah, you like Nintendo and Microsoft are working together to do crossplay, and Sony's being the wet blanket.
Yeah.
I
mean, you never know what will happen, and Nintendo obviously has changed leadership and everything like that. So, but they just as a company, they just seem very much in their own little bubble. And that makes for a lot of good decisions and a lot of strange and decisions and a lot of bad optics decisions. But that's how you get to where they have been for the past 30, 40 years. And I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't want them to change I don't want any wholesale changes with them. But but it would be interesting to see their games running on, better hardware at the same time. I get that curiosity for sure.
Yeah. Let's hit a couple more super chats here. Jade Shadow for $5. Sucker Punch is the one to emulate right now. Yeah, I'm interested to hear your thoughts, Reshan. We've all kind of espoused the ones that have played it, our love for Ghost of Tsushima and for what Sucker Punch did and how they handled the entire release and what the fans wanted, all that stuff. How did you feel about Ghost of Tsushima and what they did this year?
I loved it. I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's just Assassin's Creed, but samurai," and I was like, "That's a really good thing." I don't know, they did it better than Assassin's Creed. The combat was crisp. Yeah, there's so many good things about that. Also, their extra content policy is excellent. So yeah, no, I was thrilled with Ghost of Tsushima. I thought it should have been game of the year, but yeah.
Yes.
I think the addition of Legends, the fact that they basically gave everyone a looter shooter, basically looter swish, I guess, for free that worked perfect at launch. Where you have Marvel's Avengers that was just a fucking shit show. Like the idea that they gave us that for nothing, for free as a surprise is incredible. And I think Sucker Punch is. People are really impressed with them and what they gave people, and the people that were critical, they said, "Hey, we hear you. We're going to try to keep making it better," as opposed to "Fuck you, we don't want your money, bigot."
They had the platform or the foundation too. So when they released their looter version, right, like it fits so perfectly on a crisp combat system. I don't know. They did a lot of stuff right with that game. I'm thrilled with that game. I'm not a fan of exclusives in general, so I was like, okay, right, like exclusive, whatever, but. No, that was excellent. Is excellent. So
yeah, and playing on 60 FPS on PS5 is fucking dope.
Yeah, I brushed on snagged my only point. I was like, the only reason I wouldn't say Sucker Punch is the one to emulate is because, like, well, they still are kind of excluding like 3/4 of the industry from playing their game. Like, but that I don't think is really their fault. I think that's more a Sony not being very good about porting to other platforms. Although, I mean, again, they're showing some cracks in that armor too. Like we got Horizon and Death Stranding. Although Death Stranding, like I think Kojima had always kind of made the deal to be like, yeah, I'll launch on PlayStation first for some extra funding, but this is going to be a multi-platform game eventually. But yeah, no, I loved Ghost of Tsushima. I'm still working through the single player campaign, but I played a hell of a lot of Legends. I actually got up to raid level, and then we never ended up playing the raid. So if you guys want to do that,
yes, I do. I uploaded my shit to the cloud to download it on PS5, so I have my character back in Legends, which I was really scared.
I forget which video I was working on, but I basically like took a day off editing a video and just grinded Ghost of Tsushima. I was like, okay, guys, I'm raid ready. They're like, okay, we'll do it like sometime this weekend. Never happened.
I blame Josiah.
Yeah, I always blame Josiah. But Sucker Punch is definitely, they seem to have a lot of respect right now. Their Infamous series, highly respected, and what they've done with Ghost of Tsushima, which makes everyone happy except for a few miserable blue hair weirdos on Twitter. They've done a great job. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, all these fat white women complaining about the offense to Japanese culture.
Didn't it get like a perfect score in Japan?
Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah, and I hope that we can see we definitely, you want to support companies that are doing things the right way for sure, and they are obviously making people very happy, and we need more of that for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Dex Luther for Canadian $5 in Cyberpunk pen and paper style, fashion. Hold on. In Cyberpunk pen and paper, style and fashion mattered. They made videos saying it would matter. Style and fashion don't matter. Can't even get a haircut. That's true. I remember the 2018 demo, maybe, where they were talking about how, like, at least I didn't see it. So I remember this walkthrough where they were talking about, hey, you buy whatever outfit you choose, it'll affect your street cred and things like that, to get you access to different vendors, things like that. That completely is not true. I didn't find anything that correlated to street cred as far as what you wore or your style or anything.
The what you wear though, I think they simplified it down to just armor. So it's like you have different tiered gear that have better armor versus others, and it's very, very simplistic system because there's not things like weight to what you're wearing. So there's not certain things you wear that make you heavier and have your stamina run out faster. It's just like equip the thing that has the better number, and you end up often looking ridiculous.
It's just like a normal shooter.
Also, though, in the GameSpot review, where she's like, yeah, no, like I never changed my clothes even once. And then people like were refuting like, oh, that doesn't necessarily mean she played on easy. I'm like, no, I think it does, because like if you got through an entire game where that has armor factor into your survivability and you don't ever change your clothes because you got glasses that say bitch on them and you like them, it's like, well, I mean,
well, yeah, she said she didn't engage with the crafting system, the progressions. Like, I don't remember. It was like far reaching. I was like, well, it's an RPG. Like, player progression's a big deal.
Yeah, and I mean, part of that is the like rush for the day one embargo review, which isn't her fault necessarily, but a company like GameSpot will say, no, we got this game today. You have 3 days to play it and have your review written and have it ready to go.
She said she played 50 hours. She said she played 50 hours and didn't do that stuff. I was like, I don't know, man. I did that after 5. So
yeah, I know. not super defending that, but I think that the grind that the mainstream sites do to get their reviews to be out for embargo day one, I think makes them skim over a lot of details. I'm willing to bet those 50 hours also involved her leaving the game on and going to get lunch. maybe having a coffee afterwards, tweeting a bit,
watching a fucking Lifetime movie,
tweeting a bit, emphasis on the tweeting, and then come back to the game.
Yeah, I don't believe that she played the game barely at all. It seems like when you look at her, when you watch her portions of that review, it looks like she's making stuff up. That's
especially because like it's a game that has a lot of substantive, actual, real criticism that you can make of it. Like even if you
not the stuff that they said. That's what got me. A lot of the reviews were like, "Oh, I didn't like this," and I was like, "Wait a second, that's not what you should be criticizing. There's real stuff to say is bad, but not that."
Yeah,
it blew my mind.
That lied, really?
I think the entire thing, like the fact that it was so glitchy and buggy, and that so many people were just like laughing at that, I think that even got a little bit of the criticism off of CDPR for the kind of bare bones that Cyberpunk ended up being from what it kind of was promised and told that it would be. And that it would be truly this like future next gen. This will be the next level up in how we make games and how we experience games, where it was really just not. So I don't know.
A lot of the systems for games nowadays, I don't even know how they would change. Like a lot of people said it's going to be an evolution, but I was like, no, you're still following a quest marker. You know, you're following a dotted line GPS. Like that kind of stuff is always going to be consistent. You still gain experience and level up and then exist in an open world. Like it really didn't do anything different. I thought it did some things very well, but it didn't do anything different that the industry's never seen before. So that in that way, yeah, it was never going to.
Yeah. And I mean, I even said like I'm probably the person, at least on Geeks and Gamers, who had the best time with the game. And I don't think it does anything great, almost, like except for maybe the writing, especially in the side stories. But I think that it's a game that's competent on a lot of levels, but it's not really masterpiece tier in any level. It's just the sum kind of becomes a bit, or the whole becomes a bit better than the sum of its parts in a lot of ways, if you're not dealing with a bunch of technical issues, obviously. But I don't think that it is ever really going to be the masterpiece a lot of people think that it was always supposed to be from the marketing. But I think that once they fix all the problems, and especially once they add in like DLC content and everything, assuming the writing levels is high, it will be thought of as like a really good game that had just a disastrous launch.
Yeah. It'll overcome the hurdles. I do believe that. And I will say, like, I got the ending that I'm not going to say what it was, but a lot of people consider it to be the bad ending. And I felt something, man. I was like, wow, that was impactful, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think of it as a bad ending. I was like, damn, that was what I deserved. That's how I played. Like, that's what I get. Okay. So it made me feel something. The writing, I agree. And the weaving of the side content into the main content. You do one main mission, you go do the side content, you come back in, all feels like part of this cohesive story, even though it's side content.
My theory is that the reason they did that is because of all the data they got with people not finishing Witcher 3. They divided things that would have been main content, but they thought was a bit of a digression from the actual like Johnny Silverhand story, and just called it a side job, so that if people did want to just mainline the only story specific missions and get through the game in 20 hours, they could. But again, I beg everyone that plays Cyberpunk 2077, do not skip the side jobs. They are the best thing in the game.
Yeah, like there is, I mean, it feels weird to say this, but there's a right and a wrong way to play that game. There is. You can play it wrong and you can actually like fuck up your experience. It can happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pimp Sidious for $5 doesn't say anything. Then Pimp Sidious for 15 says Twatter and Soy Book ban the president. Alt tech, gentlemen.
Geeksandgamers.com.
Odyssey, go to Odyssey. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, seriously. I mean, look, I said this on Friday Night Tights last night. So I saw someone tweet something out, and a lot of like conservative people retweeted it. And they're like, "Who made Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey the people that could control the conversations in the public square?" We did. We don't have to go to their platforms. We have supported these platforms, and I'm guilty of it too. Where I went to Parler, and it's like doesn't really operate. It's not smooth. It's not fluid. It's got this. It's got that. Same way Twitter was in the beginning too. But are we interested in just a perfect experience, or do we want to have a fair experience? And again, Parler could change, but as it stands right now, Parler has really good leadership. And you've got to get a little uncomfortable sometimes if you want to have change. And it's going to take the masses to go to different platforms and support them, give them the infrastructure they need by supporting them to support them so they can have money to continue to build their platforms. I'm spending as much as I can to continue to build Geeks and Gamers to give it a better experience. You're going to go over to the website right now, and the forums might not be as smooth as you want them to operate. The notifications aren't going to be there like they are on Twitter or Facebook. It's not as going to be as smooth a process as you've expected. But you have me, the guy who owns it, who's telling you that the more support we get, the more backing I will put behind trying to give you guys a better experience. And you've got Upper Echelon, who's got things going over there on Odyssey. If you enjoy, like, how many subs do you have on YouTube?
430, I think.
430,000. If he could get 25% of that to go support him on Odyssey, that's a game changer. You know what I mean? Like, that's huge. And we all know if you have 400,000 subs, we have almost 300 here. We know, like, you get about 20% of your support consistently all the time. And then you get certain videos that are going to take off and reach beyond that. Mm-hmm. People have to start supporting in mass numbers if they want to see change. And it's going to be uncomfortable. It's not going to be the best experience at all times. But if you have belief in the leadership behind it, then it can become something great. But it's going to take time.
Parler is anti-anime titty.
Well, didn't it just get banned by the app stores like Google and Apple? Yeah.
Did Apple ban it too? I thought it was just Google.
Well, Apple,
I think both of them did within an hour of each other.
Yeah,
they were like, "Nope, you're gone."
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But you can still. I mean, I have Parler, so it's still on my Android. But I just went ahead and went to the website directly and just put it on my home screen.
The problem is
so funny. They're like, "We didn't coordinate this, but simultaneously we banned it." I'm like, what?
Yeah.
The problem is the next thing they're going to go after is whoever hosts their website, their webpage. Like, that will happen, and it'll probably get taken down. Like, that's the bottom line, because these corporations are making these decisions, and it's not just one platform. It's not just, Twitter just decided to deplatform POTUS. That's not it. It is Facebook, it's Twitter, it's Discord, it is Reddit, it is YouTube. Like, it is everyone all at the same time within 24 hours of each other determining to unperson someone. That's illegal and is also just really shitty. And the people that continue to say private corporation or whatever, we're not just talking about a private corporation. We're talking about a people coming together, coordinated effort to get these people silenced for not having the right political opinion. And it's troubling. The people that are cheering it on, you're fucking retarded because you're next. So enjoy it while it lasts, I suppose. Mr. X.
Stuff is wild, man. The YouTube stuff is what really freaked me out. You can't even mention. So I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. I'll respect you guys not wanting to talk about politics, but yeah, it's just wild. You can't mention certain things. Your channel's gone.
Yeah. I mean, it. Look, Brian, I looked at a certain person's channel last night. They've gained like 200,000 subs in the past like a week. You know what I'm talking about?
Is it someone we know?
Yeah. Doug Knaple. He's gained like 200,000 subs in a week.
Oh my god!
And I'm like,
he's a fucking retard too.
I don't hate Doug. Me and Doug had a couple of issues, but I mean, it is what it is. But I'm happy for his success. But I'm just looking at it going, I backed off of DDayCobra right after they made that announcement, and I had a video that hit like 500,000 subs. I gained like 8,000 subs in a day on DDayCobra. And I just took my foot completely off. I just like, all right, I'm not even going to press the gas anymore. I'm just going to back off because they've clearly made a statement of what you can and can't do. And I just don't want to risk it because everything's tied to, all my channels. So it's just like, it's ridiculous, but they're going to try to control what we're saying. And if you give us clear rules, I have no problem following clear rules. I have no problem having definitive guidelines telling me what I can and can't do along with everyone else. We can't do this. We can do this. But that's not really where we're at. It's really vague.
Mm-hmm.
And if the rules were consistent across the board for everyone as well, that'd be pretty fucking nice.
Yeah.
Kathy Griffin reposted a picture that got taken down from Twitter a couple years ago.
Her
The
holding
retweet
flag.
with the head. Is that
Yep.
the one? Yeah.
She put it up. She put it up again.
She put it up again. So take action, Twitter. Right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. No.
Mr. X for CLP. Is that Chilean? I don't know what that is, but it's 2,500 of it. So thank you. Almost 100 hours with Cyberpunk 2077. Had a blast. Now waiting for DLC and messing with mods. What do you think will happen with the promised online Cyberpunk 2077 game? It will happen. I wouldn't anticipate it until about 3 years from now.
Yeah, I was about to say 2023 at the earliest, I would say. And I think if they launch it before it's ready, that they're crazy. Absolutely insane if that thing isn't running perfectly when they launch it.
That's true. Repeat, second round. They'd never live that down.
Yeah. Muggsykins Canadian $5. CDPR is also losing merchandise sales. Ooh, the collector's edition guide has already been discounted and just sitting on store shelves here. Oof. It's been impacted. It is a disappointment. That's why their stock is dropping, because your stock is based on the projection of what you will do. When things happen, your stock drops because now you have to recalibrate what the expectation is. And they have a long way to go. They made a shit ton of money, but they've lost their reputation, which could mean more money in the future. So hopefully they rebuild it. Bweezy Bird for $2. Mark, where are you in Attack on Titan?
I'm caught up. X-Ray Girl and I have a date tomorrow to watch episode 5 when it launches at, I believe, 4 p.m. Eastern time.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's I actually, in the last 2 weeks, X-Ray Girl and I have rewatched all of Attack on Titan because she'd never seen it. It's really, really good. Like, if you watch season 1 of Attack on Titan when it came out, I think 7 years ago, and never watched the rest of it and thought that it gets kind of boring towards the end and not a lot happens. There's some decent action, but just a lot of talking. That the best way I can describe that show, it's as if someone took the J.J. Abrams mystery box concept, but had an actual plan, and there's significant things inside the mystery box. So towards the end of season 2, you learn a bunch of really great stuff that entirely changes the series. And in season 3, there's 2 things that completely recontextualize everything else. And I found I was even more impressed rewatching it with X-Ray Girl when things that you learn in season 2 about characters that are actually not really good guys, you see how they interact with everyone, and you're like, oh man, it was pretty clear that the hints were there the entire time, and it's so really satisfying to see. You're like, oh god. But yeah, so watch Attack on Titan, everybody. It's great. The final season is airing right now.
I finished season 3 last night, and the second half of season 3 was just mind-blowingly fucking good.
Yeah.
Season 2 is a bit whatever.
Season 2, it sticks the landing though. The ending of season 2, I think, is really solid.
The end of season 2 is good, but for the most part, it's a bit whatever. Mm-hmm. But the second half of season 3 was just fuck me, Dad. This is the good shit right here.
Yep.
Somebody in the chat mentioned Ninja Scroll in the chat. That's the only anime I've ever watched.
Ninja Scroll is that's one of the early 90s weeb holy trinity of Akira, Ghost in the Shell, and Ninja Scroll. Those are the 3 movies that if you were a kid who liked anime in the early 90s, those would be the movies you'd watch. And yes, I've had people say Akira isn't a 90s anime, it's an 80s anime. It came out in 1988. And unless you're 60, you didn't see that in the theaters, okay? So it's a 90s anime. You watched it in the 90s.
Ghost in the Shell, that's the one with Scarlett Johansson, right? I saw that one.
Yeah, it's the Scarlett Johansson live action film. It was never animated.
I was hoping to trigger you. Gall 316 for £5. I picked up the Witcher 3 Game of the Year edition on sale a couple years after release. Cyberpunk will be the same. We'll see. I do think we'll see. There's a lot of controversy. If they can get this game going by, they say that it's going to be fixed by February. I don't believe that. I do think that leak that they said isn't true is probably some truth in it. I think it's more likely by June or so.
A year is a safe bet, though. I mean, in a full year, I can't imagine that would be a bad decision. Yeah.
Your safest bet is to think of it as like a Christmas season 2021 game, because by then it will probably be as good as it's going to get.
Somebody in the chat says Geeks and Gamers ever shared an opinion on Dragon Ball. Krista has
a whole channel.
Krista has a Dragon Ball channel called Dragon Ball Chick, and you can go over there and she knows all about it. I've actually been watching a little bit of Dragon Ball just because people have been driving me crazy to kind of check it out ever since she started this channel. It's actually pretty good.
Jeremy, you like wrestling, right?
No, I've never. I think it's too toxic.
Oh, okay. I could have sworn you did.
I'm kidding, Mark. I love old school professional wrestling.
Okay, well, I don't know. Like, I talked to a lot of people. Maybe I mixed you up with someone else. But anyways, Dragon Ball, I think like
Colin Moriarty doesn't like wrestling.
Dragon Ball is the series that I think really hammers home the WWE's just redneck anime analogy. Because like it is sort of the same deal. Like, I think if you can get into wrestling, you probably like Dragon Ball. It's very silly. It doesn't take itself seriously at all. The rules are kind of all over the map, and it's just like matchup. Oh, now this guy's even stronger than that guy, so he has to get even stronger. But I don't know. It's kind of inspiring in its own way.
That's actually a pretty good analogy. I mean, Goku has a lot of similarities to Superman in a lot of ways.
Maybe his powers, his character is a lot different though.
Well, no, but I mean, it's just his overall his path.
Randy Orton.
Yeah. But I like Goku. I like Vegeta is pretty awesome.
Yeah, Vegeta's a great character.
Yeah, Vegeta is great. Gohan is cool. I'm watching
Piccolo. I've heard of a bitch called Piccolo. Who's that?
Piccolo is like Batman. He reminds me of Batman.
Yeah, he was the villain for the original Dragon Ball series, and then he's kind of the de facto foster father to Gohan, because Goku is what.
Goku's a terrible father.
Yeah, he's the worst father ever. This guy cares more about training martial arts than he does about raising his kids, and there's no debate there. That's just true.
Yeah, Piccolo does.
Piccolo never watched any of it.
You haven't?
Yeah, but you're a virgin, Ryan, so you don't count.
Hey, like Dragon Ball is not the anime I would recommend for people that are like, hey, if I want to watch a good anime, what would I watch? Because it's very like wholesome and silly, and it is good in its own way, but it's its own thing kind of. Whereas I think Attack on Titan or Death Note or I don't know, like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood would probably be the ones I'd recommend to like an adult to be like, if you watch this, you will probably enjoy the story.
Death Note's my number one. My nerdy home, she's never watched anime in her life, and I got her to start watching Neon Genesis Evangelion. Just like threw her right in the fucking deep end with like.
I was about to say, I was like, that is certainly the deep end.
Just threw her right fucking.
She's gonna get to the end of that and be like, wait, what? What happened?
I watched that Blood of Zeus or whatever it is that was on Netflix. That one's not too bad.
I think that's the Castlevania studio. It's like anime, but it's like American anime. But it looks pretty solid.
That's what I like. I don't want pizza from fucking Italy. I want American shit. That's what I want.
So once again, so in our gaming podcast, we've now talked about iPhones and Dragon Ball. We haven't had our Terminator debate yet. Where do you stand on Terminator movies, upper echelon? Because that's the most important thing about our podcast every week.
Well, I like the early ones, not so much the later ones.
Which one do you like more?
Which one out of 1 and 2 is better?
Oh, I feel like I'm walking into a minefield. I think 2 is better, personally.
Fuck you then.
Oh no, okay.
You got two people right here who will like go to the death that they think 1 is the best. Over
2 is better.
I think 2 is very good. I think 1 is a better film.
Well,
I think 1 is excellent. I just liked 2 better, I guess, personally.
I think Uche's argument is great, where he's like, man, I don't even remember 1. 2's better.
He's like,
That's such a weird stance to take. Like,
yeah,
Didn't he
yeah,
say that 2 was beat for beat for number 1, but he can't even remember number 1?
yeah. Well, I think that's what I think. Mark said that Terminator 2 is basically beat for beat, like number 1.
I think that is
And-
how the conversation originally came up. That I think we were talking about Dark Fate, and
Yeah.
when people said, "Yeah, they just keep remaking Terminator 2," and I was like, "Terminator 2 is kind of a remake of Terminator 1. Like basically all the same things happen. They've just been making that movie over and over.
No, it's not the same. It's not the same at all." And then he was like,
I see my Salvation representation in the chat. You're
Yeah,
damn right.
Salvation
I love
Salvation has a lot of flaws. It's not a great movie by any stretch, but it is the only Terminator movie that tries to tell a different story.
"Yes, they try exactly."
Bat Manual has it right. Highlight Bat Manual's comment. That right there represents Geeks and Gamers right there. It's not a Geeks and Gamers stream without at least one screaming argument.
Well, we're not really arguing. Like we're.
God damn it,
Shut the
Mark.
fuck up,
Don't
Mark.
play
I
fucking
mean-
Canada bullshit.
The only
Fuck.
good thing about Terminator Salvation.
We don't really argue.
Words mean things, Jeremy.
There you go.
So
This
go
is-
ahead,
This
Lethal.
is kayfabe
The only
now.
good thing about Salvation was Christian Bale's rant.
Yeah.
Yes, it's fucking shit.
I don't know, I thought Anton Yelchin was great as Kyle Reese. It made
Nah, fuck him.
what's his name, Captain Boomerang look stupid in the next movie.
Oh, that movie never fucking no. Fuck that movie. Doesn't give me Salvation over that garbage.
Guy Courtney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was not even close to playing Kyle Reese in that film. Like he didn't even. I would almost say that Jai Courtney probably did not even see the original Terminator film.
Okay, well, since you guys brought it up,
Oh, God.
we're gonna have to play it. This is kind of a tradition at Geeks and Gamers right here.
What are you doing?
Here we go.
And that is it for us today.
What the fuck are you doing?
I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that.
I want you off the fucking set, you prick.
Okay, but yeah, I can't read it. There's no words on it.
What don't you fucking understand?
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean? To play us out.
Fuck's sake, man, you're amateur. What don't you get about it? Are you professional or not?
I don't know what that means. To play us out. What does that
Oh,
mean?
shut the fuck up.
To end the show?
No. No.
All right, go.
You're unbelievable, man. You're unfucking believable.
That's tomorrow, and that is
Ah,
it.
da-da-da-da. Give me a fucking answer.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a. I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay.
Let's go again.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Oh, good for you.
Game sucks.
Kick your fucking ass. You don't shut up for a second, all right?
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
Stay off the fucking set, man.
We need to have someone edit Tom Cruise into that one now too.
It's been done.
Somebody did the Tom Cruise to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the part where Santa comes in and is like addressing everybody. It's so fucking good. Let me get through a couple of these. Muggsykins for $5. They also can't count all the customers they lost and will not buy their future games either. I don't trust the multiplayer feature either. Yeah, like I said, I think they got a lot of making up to do. Diego Flores for 10 Peruvian bucks. The Japan sale is not because of stock, because Sony only projected 240,000 units for Japan in sales, and many analysts say Sony is shifting from Japan. I definitely think it's a combination. I do think that if they were sitting on the shelves, they would sell. I don't think you're gonna. If you can find me pictures from Japan that have PS5 sitting there, that may make me think.
Yeah, that is the true test. Again, and I don't think anybody believes that you're just going to casually just walk in and see PS5s on the shelf. That's not happening.
Nobody's walking by a PS5 that's just sitting there on the shelf and being like, I don't even want it. Like, there's going to be someone
not
that wants it. Like,
They could fucking sell it, like scalp it and sell it here.
Yeah.
Like even pay for shipping, they'll still make their money.
Yep.
Dilligaff for $5. Is there a must-have game for 2021, or is all hope lost? Should we expect a Biden simulator? Scratch and sniff.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're not going to be short on news, and as I've said on DDayCobra a lot, like if the people that wake up every day wanting to be offended by Trump, they're still going to find a reason to be offended. It's not going away. He's not going away.
Yep. As far as must-have game for 2021, Halo
Outriders. Yeah, Halo Unlimited. Yeah, Outriders. I can't think of many though. Definitely not a must-have, right?
Yeah. I think if Cyberpunk, I think, should have taught us anything, it's that thinking of any game as a must-have game might not be the best idea.
Yep.
I mean, maybe just when games come out, watch reviews of them or read about them, or if you like, it's what I always say anytime I'm talking about like pre-ordering games or buying a game on day one. You got to think of it as you gambling on that game, gambling on that developer. Which means if you buy a game and it's bad, you kind of. You're the one that took the chance on buying a game that you didn't really know that much about, and we're just going on marketing. Because even preview coverage from places like IGN and stuff, that's still marketing, even though it is people that will be semi-critical of the game's issues and like if they get to play an early build. But ultimately, like the thing that the developers want to show those outlets are the game in its best possible state at the time. And it will often be couched in a lot of, oh, well, this was a bit of an issue, but hopefully it'll be fixed before launch kind of thing. So always, if you think of a game as being a must-have game, then you might end up being disappointed more often than you're satisfied.
That's true. Yeah. Someone's saying Elden Ring. That shit ain't coming out.
Elden Ring's, yeah. I hope Elden Ring doesn't come out this year, because, or I hope that whenever they do like show some stuff about it, it's like ready to go, kind of the way they did with Sekiro. Whereas.
Sorry, I think no. Go ahead. I wasn't. You were just being boring. So.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, I was gonna say just Sekiro. They announced it at E3 and then it came out that November. So, or I'm pretty sure that's how it went. Maybe it was. No, it was a March game. So yeah, it wasn't very long after they announced Sekiro that it came out. So the game was probably ready to go by then, and I hope they do the same with Elden Ring.
Yeah, with the delay of Halo Infinite. I think we all can at least look at that as a huge positive. It doesn't mean the game's going to be great, but I think generally speaking, game delays are a good thing. They really are, because it shows that the developer is trying their best to not release a broken game, and it's a good sign. Again, it's not a guarantee of anything, but it is it's a good sign, and you can look at that and go, maybe we can have hope for this game, especially after the Cyberpunk situation.
Yeah. I'm looking at the to be announced releases, and like honestly, the biggest like high profile AAAs are things like Gran Turismo 7. Is God of War even on here actually?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know when God of War Ragnarok is supposed to come out, but I do think there's a chance it comes out in 2021.
Ghostwire Tokyo looks pretty solid. Like Far Cry 6 is still coming up, but I mean, honestly, I think that
if you like Far Cry, you like it.
Because of how the pandemic though has been affecting the way game development works, and how everyone's been all the studios have been kind of rearranging to work from home things or remote work. I think we're probably going to not see a whole lot of big, huge budget AAA games this year, because they're going to be hard to develop. But that I think leaves some room for indie games that might end up being really solid. So like if you don't play indie games, I'd recommend like go through some reviews of smaller independent games and pick one up, because they're usually pretty cheap and often they're very, very good with a lot of like heart in them, passion.
There's some incredible ones, yeah. Like Hades to me was just
Hades was incredible.
Yeah,
the only thing I can think of off the top of my head that I'm really looking forward to is Gotham Knights.
Oh yeah, I hope that's good.
Yeah, that one could go either way.
Yeah, I want it to be good so badly.
Jeremy will be happy to know Super Mario 3D World's coming out in February 12th on Switch.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Isn't there already one of those?
Yeah, no, this one's got this is basically one of the last few Wii U games that aren't on the Switch, but it's got some added content to it.
Oh, okay. Another $60 for Nintendo. Awesome.
Right.
Fenrir 44 for €5. If you guys don't know why PS4 does not sell in Japan, ask Raging Golden Eagle. He can tell you why. Sony fucked up. Again, I think it's a combination of a couple things. But it is still outselling Xbox Series X by fucking leaps and bounds. It's not even close. It's like 8-1 basically. So I think it's a combination of them not putting as much stock there, and also just people tired of Sony censoring things. The Japanese people. That's what it feels like to me. A little bit of burning at both ends. Reed Palantia for Australian $20. Scalping is so very prominent with the consoles. Many thousands have been sold at over 300% of their retail value, which is just fucking insane. And yeah, you're right. I hope they put more safeguards in place. Michael Strellis for £5. Completely different, but if you guys looked at the cover of Detective Comics 1027, looks like a woman or not?
1027.
Yeah, can you look at that?
That came out in like September, October. The one I got looks pretty normal.
Does it look like a woman?
No, it looks like Batman.
All right, well, there you go. The John Beck for $2. Genuinely surprised. PC Mark has an iPhone.
I don't use my phone to play games. I use my PC to play games.
iPhones suck. Samurai Vader for $5. Speaking of gaming, GPU prices are on the rise and demand due to mining again. Closest Micro Center only had 3060 Ti for over $540. How convenient. Go ahead.
There's a store here called Canada Computers that you can get GPUs from pretty easily. You just go in and fully pay for your GPU, and then whenever it comes in, they call you and say, "Hey, come pick it up." So it's again, the in-person transactions I think are the key to avoiding all these scalpers.
We don't live in Canada.
Well, I mean, maybe you have a store that works similarly. I don't know.
That's the worst part about crypto, though, is like wrecking the availability of PC parts. Like,
yeah.
I get it. You want crypto. Like, I want to play games, though.
Yeah. Where was I? Gall 316 for £5. SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain is still the best wrestling game ever made.
Ooh. There's a motherfucker on Facebook selling a PlayStation 5 for $2,500.
Nice.
Well, that's Australian money, so it's actually only like $600 real dollars, right?
Go fuck yourself.
Best wrestling game.
The one I was never big into them, but the one I liked the most was Def Jam Fight for New York.
I mean, I had this playing behind me the other day, and I know it's not good, but I have great memories of the WCW Monday Nitro game for PS1. Just because that was at the height of all of the Monday Night Wars and everything like that. But if I had to, my favorite wrestling game, trying to think, there was the arcade WWF Superstars is probably my favorite. The arcade version.
What the fuck?
There you go.
Loved that one. WCW versus NWO World Tour was fantastic. I could just go on and on about
This
wrestling.
motherfucker's selling us for $80.
Well, it is a PS5.
PlayStation 2 plus 3 equals 5. The math
He's
checks
selling
out.
it for $80.
Do they work?
I mean, yeah, like honestly, if they're both functional, that's not a horrible price.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's like $50 real dollars. Nothing bad for a DVD player.
Knowing where
Blu-ray
he's
play, PS3 plays Blu-rays.
That's true. PS3 does play Blu-rays, although that drive probably doesn't work. My PS3 drive stopped working eventually after a while.
knowing where this guy's selling this from, it probably doesn't come with the duct tape.
Well, speaking of video games and money, I guess we might as well move on to Call of Duty, because people like to complain about Call of Duty coming out with a game every year. And, why would they do that? Why don't they just focus on this? Well, the answer is fucking money. And Call of Duty made a shit ton of money for Activision in 2020. $3 billion in revenue from Call of Duty. Now, nearly $2 billion of that came between Modern Warfare and Warzone. Yet another $700 million come in from Black Ops, which is only available for 2 months in 2020. It is astronomical, but it just does go to show that like they are going to continue to push these games out, even though there's people that want them. Oh, just take a break. They're not going to. There's no need to. They're going to continue doing this and making this money hand over fist. Now, thankfully, I do feel like Modern Warfare and Warzone has been pretty well received by a lot of people. And, although it is Call of Duty, like, you know what to expect, it does feel like they got back to basics, gave people more of what they wanted instead of trying to be something else. They just leaned into traditional Call of Duty. And for us, I think we all had a pretty good experience on Warzone and are having a decent one on Black Ops as well.
Yeah, I think the key was going free to play. That's what did it for him. Because I know a lot of people that, with Warzone, but I know a lot of people that play the free to play part of it, right? They didn't buy the game, but they still play Warzone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Cold War. I'm having a lot of fun with Cold War. I get that it's a Call of Duty game. It doesn't really matter what your opinion is. It's going to have a lot of people that are screaming at you, whether you love it or hate it. That's just where we are with Call of Duty and a lot of these other titles that have a lot of a big following. But Cold War is, and I'm strictly talking from a multiplayer standpoint, Cold War is definitely my favorite Call of Duty since Black Ops 2. And I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I'm going to continue playing it. I think it's they've done a good job of getting it back to the basics. Warzone is something that really has revived Call of Duty for sure. I don't really play Warzone, but I know that it's a big deal to a lot of people.
It's revenue is up 80% compared to 2019.
That's
also Corona, right? Like, I think all the games are going. I mean, that's an astronomical amount, but I think all the games are going up too because people are home. They just want to play something.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, 80% is a lot, though. Fucking hell, because it's not like 2019 was a bad year for them. I mean,
did they set a record in 2019? So they're up 80% over their record.
It is insanity because Modern Warfare, and I didn't know this, but Modern Warfare, the best-selling Call of Duty of all time, which is hard to process considering how big Modern Warfare 1 and 2 were back in the day and Black Ops 1. Like, it seemed like everybody that you interacted with was playing Call of Duty back then. And to hear that Modern Warfare is the best-selling game of all time for them, that's insane.
But because they have so many more gamers now, Jeremy, due to reaching out to all the female demographic.
They got the other 50%.
Yeah, exactly. Anita was right all along. What were you gonna say, Lethal?
I was just going to say, I was surprised like just how much it's gone up. I was expecting it to go up quite a bit because of COVID and everyone staying home, but 80%, holy fuck, man, that's a lot of people buying the game, first of all. And where else is the rest of the money coming from? Battle passes, buying like the skins and stuff like that for your guns. Is there like a detailed breakdown on where this money's coming from? I'd like to know how much is coming from microtransactions.
Not that
I bet in their investor call they'll talk about it. They'll say like what's it called? They have a word for it. It's like in-app purchases or something. I don't know. Like
surprise mechanics.
Surprise
mechanics. Kinder eggs. Huh.
Call of Duty is at least pretty good at not having them be actual surprise mechanics where you don't know what you're paying for. A lot of the stuff I find is extremely overpriced, but at least you know where your money's going and what you're getting.
Yeah. But that's a lot, 80%.
And I think it's interesting, like, this launched in March, right? March of 2020, $2 billion from Modern Warfare and Warzone. Black Ops, $700 million in 2 months. Now, Black Ops, we are all having a lot of fun playing Black Ops multiplayer. I think one thing that is interesting, Mark talked about in his review, I'm pretty sure you talked about it in your Black Ops campaign review, I think as well, Upper Echelon, about how Black Ops campaign almost took a step to do something like different, like not traditional Call of Duty. They got
Cold War or Black Ops?
Yeah, Cold War.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Cold War.
Yeah, Cold War, I liked what they tried. I mean, they didn't do enough of it, but I thought that they really tried. The espionage stuff, and then I really felt like at the end of the game, I was breaking the narrative. I wasn't doing what the game wanted me to do, so I felt like I was doing something cool. I mean, come to find out, it doesn't matter that much, but I don't know. It felt cool. I feel like they could have done much more, but yeah, they tried to do something a little bit different. And I respect them for it.
Yeah,
I was so satisfied shooting Frank Woods in the face. I fucking hate that motherfucker.
Lethal doesn't understand why Americans like Frank Woods.
No, he doesn't.
Frank
Woods.
80% of it's bandana. Okay.
I don't shave. I drink beer. I'm loud and annoying. Mason, I'm not gay.
I don't know if that's canon. but no, Desperate Measures I thought was an incredible mission. Like the one where you're playing as the Russian agent inside the Kremlin. And,
Yeah, that was one from that.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah, had they done more stuff like that, I think it would have been more impressive. But I think that there was a lot of we need to get this game out within a year going on for
Yeah, they were on a time, a timeline, and they had a strict time budget, and like you said, they could have done so much more with that though. Man, I would have loved to see a game like, especially the procedurally generated special missions, because you couldn't just look up I made a tutorial on how to do them, but you couldn't just be like, what's the code, and then do it. You had to actually solve something,
figure it out.
Yeah, and I was like, that's cool. You feel like you earned it. Like you have to solve something yourself. That was very cool to me.
And
like
where I think they dropped the ball in those though is they didn't have it affect your ending very much. Like you pretty much just get different dialogue over a still panning image. And that's the only real difference. And I'm like, man, if they made those two missions, because there wasn't a lot of them, so it's like you wouldn't have to think of that many variations. But if they made like significant differences to how the endings played out, I think that people would be like, wow, this game actually has like replay value. Like you go through the game again and then just not do those missions and see how it goes. Or do one of them.
And you could tell they were going for replay value. Like they wanted at least some replay value. And you're right. It could have been so much more if they incorporated those. Yeah.
I do think that hopefully that kind of will set the stage for in the future to do more of that, though, instead of just your really fucking generic 8 to 10 missions at different places shooting people.
Michael Bay movie, the video game.
Yeah, like it must, right? Because I can't imagine that wasn't popular. Like I loved it. I know it sounds like you guys liked it as well. So they have to have gotten good feedback on that. Right, trying to do something different in that way, but still having boots on the ground and not changing what we love about Call of Duty. They still cater to their audience, but then they were like, oh, but here's this espionage stuff, and here's like some choices, and here's impact and the puzzles. Like I don't know, I think they should expand on it definitely.
Yeah, I feel like as far as replay value went, for me it was just load up the last level and pick the other option.
Yeah,
to see what the difference was.
And yeah, like, and if they had made like
this option sucks.
Yeah, they were clearly going for it, and they could have done so much more. But in a good way, like they could have done more. But I'm happy they did what they did. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm still 80% is hard to process with that increase on their revenue. But when people complain about Call of Duty, why would they stop? Why would they stop?
Yeah, right. There's no financial incentive to not do what they're doing right now.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah,
if they would just get rid of skill-based matchmaking. Fuck me dead, man.
God, I'm just gonna sell my fucking Call of Duty shit. I was so like there were 2 days in a row that I was so fucking bad. I just wanted to literally just fucking sell my PS5 to some bitch for $1,000 and fucking call it quits. But
are people still tanking their MMR, like losing on purpose? Because I know that was like a problem early on. Yeah,
reverse boosting. Yeah, get this. They nerfed reverse boosting, so they fucking know people are pissed.
But that's wild, dude. People are tanking their own games just to have a better experience. Like you fucked up when. Like that's insane.
It would be so easy too to just have a competitive mode and a quick play mode. Like,
well, there is a leak that suggests that there's actually a ranked mode coming towards season 2. It's from a guy that's pretty credible, but there's like nothing to back it up. So who knows? But I feel like just turning the game on and playing, you're basically playing a ranked mode every fucking time because of skill-based matchmaking. So if there is a ranked mode, right? If there is a ranked mode that they do incorporate, what does that mean for just the quick play mode? Does that mean they're going to turn off skill-based matchmaking? Again, there's nothing to back it up, but it's just a leak that's floating around.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think it would be simple if they're implementing it anyway. You'd think it would be simple to do ranked. And it's not like it's uncommon or anything. I hope they do it because it does suck sometimes when we go and play and we just get fucking roasted, depending on who's the host.
You see, even that's just a full headache. It's like, Ryan, you host, you're shit. We'll get you to host. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. I get to host all the time. The Americans don't complain about the ping, and I'm terrible. So yeah. And that's the thing. I'm fucking shitty. So why do I end up running against these fucking people who are mowing people down? Probably because they've been cheating. Not cheating, but nerfing their shit so they can.
So that they can specifically fight you and kill you over and over.
Exactly.
Well, legitimately, they're like, I want to go down in the MMR, and then I'll just stomp people.
And I don't understand what's fun about that for people. I really don't. I don't get it.
Well, it's fun for me to beat the shit out of people.
Do you remember when Dr. Disrespect was streaming it? He spent like the first hour just letting himself lose, just so he can get put into the shit lobbies.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not so much that that's more fun. It's that the high rank where everybody's sweaty and like camping corners and like specific spots, that's less fun. So it's not even that it's more fun than the average experience. It's just it's not less fun. So might as well do it.
Yeah, you're right. It's a headache to turn the game on and just have every fucking game be a sweat fest. Like I want to sit down and just quick play, put me in the first lobby. If it turns out that it's a team of professionals, well, bad luck. If it turns out it's a fucking bunch of kids that only have the game because their parents are divorced, awesome. Whatever it fucking may be. But if I want to rank
too real.
well, that's the way it should be. It shouldn't be. Every game shouldn't be a fucking ranked mode. Like, fuck skill-based matchmaking.
Yeah, agreed. Geeky Pixie for $2 says, watching Karate Kid trilogy today. Love you guys. Thank you, Geeky Pixie.
Nice.
I'm going to watch those again as well. Cobra Kai is fucking awesome.
Yes, it is.
Space Monkey for $20. It's literally a picture of a chimp with a spacesuit on. Monkey would start Microsoft would start censoring Nintendo games. It's really frustrating to me that Microsoft does not allow Japanese to release their games uncensored. Then they could provide serious competition to Sony. Thank you, Space Monkey, for the super chat.
I don't hear that much about Xbox censoring things. Then again,
that's because no one plays Xbox.
Well, that's the thing. Like, not a whole lot of like Japanese, especially like things like visual novels and like little Japanese indie games come out on Xbox. But
yeah,
I don't know that they've been hit. Well, I mean, I might be wrong about this, but I don't know that they've been hit with too much censoring. Like, for example, you could see Trish's ass in Devil May Cry 5, whereas the PlayStation version there was like a ray of light blocking it out. So
yeah. That's true. Spartan Mark for $1 doesn't say anything. Then he says for $2, Raid Tsushima Legends. True. Speaking of Raid Shadow Legends, how many opportunities do you turn down for Raid Shadow Legends upper echelon? Do they email you every week?
I've lost track. And it's funny because they're like, will you advertise for Raid? And I'm like, no, it doesn't fit. Like, I lose credibility. I can't do it. And they're like, how about more money? And I'm like, no, I can't do it. How about more money? No, I can't do it. Please stop. Like they won't stop.
It's so funny.
Yeah, I remember it is a meme at this point. You remember when Dash did that one Lethal? It got
fucking hell, that was the best thing ever.
It was
what video it was? I want to watch it.
Do we have it? Can we watch it right now?
He got roasted. Like, the thing is he tried to make it funny too. Like he did it, but he did it in a funny way, and he was like, you can even play on your phone. And then he like does a little cut where he's like, what? You guys don't have phones? Like he tried to make it fun, and yeah, people fucking roasted him.
I mean, at a certain point, if they're just throwing money at you, so it's like, oh man, just like, should I just do it? Everybody knows it's a meme, it's a joke. Like, right? Everybody understands that. You make it funny, you just do it. So yeah, I can respect that. There's some animosity, man. People hate Raid.
They really do. They really do.
Russell Mania for $10. G&G community should do our own gaming awards. It's funny you say that. It's sad to see how Naughty Dog fell after making masterpieces like The Last of Us and Uncharted 4. I argue about Uncharted 4 a little bit.
Yeah.
Quantic Dream is the new top dog in narrative gaming genre, in my opinion.
That's a hot take, I would say. I mean, I don't even hate Quantic Dream, but a lot of people really do not like Quantic Dream. They're the people who made Heavy Rain, Detroit Become Human, and Beyond Two Souls starring Elliot Page.
Elliot.
Yeah, Thank you for the super chat. And our intent is to absolutely have our version of the game awards, movie awards, television, whatever. I mean, anything we can do. Once we get this app developed, we'll continue to update the website and add more over there as well, and just to have a more more communication and a better experience for all of you. So that's definitely in the cards for us. So thank you for the support. The more you support us, the more opportunities we're going to have. And next week on Friday Night Tights, I will be revealing the Geeks and Gamers video game. It will be available to play on PC and on geeksgamers.com. We had a software developer or a software engineer worked on this game for 2 years. I knew nothing about it until it was completed. Mark has played through it, at least the first level. It's gotten his approval in terms of game works, and it's got better frame rate than Nintendo.
Not all Nintendo
Mark
games.
said it's better than Ori and the Will of the Wisp.
I did not say that, but it is. It's pretty. It kind of reminds me of Rip Flash, by the way, because the Flash player is dead now. But it's kind of like an old Flash game, like a browser game where it's a side-scrolling shooter. I would almost call it. But yeah, no, it's all right. I have one tiny criticism that I don't know how easy or hard it would be to fix. So I'll save it for now.
Yeah, maybe we can have Mark do a review of the game. So I'm gonna record myself reacting to the game. I'm gonna play all the way through the game. I'll upload that here to the channel after we make that announcement on Friday Night Tights. And I want you guys to support this game because the guy said he's open to making more games and having me kind of have more creative input into it. And there's a lot we can do. So it's pretty cool. I'm a lead character in a video game now. That's amazing.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't talked to the developer, know who they are, but fuck them for doing. Like, ego will never be the same. Imagine him. He just said, "I'm going to record a video of myself reacting to this video game about myself and upload it to the channel." There you go. Roger Ains for $10 says, "I do appreciate how Nintendo tries not to censor third-party titles as much as they used to 30 years ago. Or maybe it just seems that way since Western society became more woke."
No, it is that way. Like they had sweat instead of blood in Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo. Like there is blood in Switch games now, so that they're definitely doing less censorship now than they did then.
Nice. Blue-Eyed Scorpio admits something for $5. "I've been having an affair. Been giving my time to Star Wars Theory gaming live streams. I don't feel guilty. But yeah, I deactivated my Twitch 2 weeks ago." Well, thank you for your admission, Blue-Eyed Scorpio. We appreciate you hanging out with us here too. Hokies95 for $5. "Kathy did not only do that, she said she would go after Baron, who was 11 at the time. She is a beep person."
Oh, Kathy Griffith.
Yeah.
Who are we talking about?
Kathleen Kennedy.
That's kind of what I was thinking at first. I was like,
DGC for Canadian $7. "Strange. I've heard no news on a Fallen Order 2. It was a successful game. I think you'll get one."
Absolutely. I can't see how we won't get one.
Yeah,
I guess
it'll
it'll
happen.
depend.
They'll announce it next huge PR opportunity.
How long do they have the license for?
EA.
EA, I mean.
All the exclusive Star Wars.
it
thing?
was 10 years, and I think they announced it in 2013. I want to say. I think it was just after the Disney announcement.
Yeah, which is
I
the
thought Disney
2012.
wasn't happy with them. It was that maybe I'm misremembering. I thought Disney really wasn't happy because they weren't doing anything with the license, but now they are.
I think they weren't happy with the Battlefront 2 situation, but I think Jedi Fallen Order smoothed over a lot of the tensions because it did quite well.
Yeah.
They didn't like the optics. They're like, "You're pissing on the Star Wars brand. We don't want that."
We
reserve that for us.
Not to say they've been doing great, but they're like, "Well, you can't do that." All right. Yeah.
It's like saying that's my wife. Only I'm allowed to call her a bitch.
Yeah. Well, I think it was such a change for everybody when they went from the LucasArts that we saw in the 2000s, who were spitting out tons of games. Some of them were fucking incredible. Some of them weren't so great, but there was a lot of shit for everybody. When you look at whether you're talking about a real-time strategy game, like things like Empire at War, Battlegrounds, KOTOR 2,
even
the Jedi Knight games.
Yeah. I was about to say, even for
Battlefront 2.
OG Battlefront 2. But even for like first-person shooters, you would have stuff like the Jedi Knight and Dark Forces games and Battlefront, and then like tactical shooters like Republic Commando. Like there wasn't even just like the Star Wars first-person shooter. There was like a few different ones that were all kind of their own thing. Whereas now it's just like one game every couple of years, and that's pretty much it.
It was awesome. It was great what they did, and they had something for everybody always coming out. And then you go full stop once EA got that license. Then they put out Battlefront. Shit. They put out Battlefront 2.
Shit.
Still shit. Then like what else do they do? Fallen Order. That's the next thing,
Fallen Order
right?
and Squadrons, and that's it. And then I guess there's the mobile game Galaxy of Heroes.
Fuck that.
I'm
The
sure
mobile game.
it's better on Android, but like that's probably what makes them their most money. And I guess like technically Old Republic is still like happening.
That's not. It's
like,
true,
I don't
but
think they're adding a lot of new content to it. But
actually
it exists. Like,
I mean, they just came out with the last expansion, right? Lethal, last planned one.
Yeah. Fuck. What's it called? Is it called something Oblivion or some shit like that?
Yeah. Elder Scrolls, I believe. Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
Have you seen any of it?
I haven't watched it yet. I know you
don't
watched
know
it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't tell me. I got to watch it for myself.
the end of the last DLC, your character gets knocked out and then wakes up in the cart in the beginning of Skyrim.
yeah. That'd be pretty good, actually. Yeah, but you know, it's sad that we haven't heard anything. Fallen Order. Go ahead.
Now you mentioned that, the way it ends kind of makes me think that they're going to have their license renewed.
I hope so.
Well, I mean, BioWare is EA, so like,
yeah.
I think they'll stick with it.
I wanted to say, like, upper echelon, if you need to bounce, because I know we're over the 2-hour mark, man, just let us know.
Oh, are we?
So.
I'm all right. I'm all right. I mean, for like a bit longer, yeah.
No, we're not going to be on much longer at all. So we're going to wrap it up here soon, but I just wanted to make sure we weren't keeping you.
No worries.
The sun's up.
Where was here we go. Roger Haynes, Canadian $5. I remember watching Dragon Ball Z dubbed in the 90s. Instead of saying kill, they would say send to another dimension. That's weak shit. Ryan Eisenberg for $1 doesn't say anything, but then Ryan Eisenberg becomes a channel member. Thank you very much, Ryan. We appreciate that. I love your name, by the way. Santo Bartez for $10. No one is talking about the ones most affected by Trump's Twitter ban, the Trump reply guys. Suddenly, after 4 years, those sycophants suddenly have nothing to grift. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you, Santo. Yeah, them unpersoning Trump's the worst thing that could happen to CNN. They were already in the toilet.
Media, they definitely get so much money from just going after him. What are they going to do when he just fades away? I mean, if he fades away.
Now it's going to be put him in prison. That's what it's going to be next.
Right. No, we have to make sure he never can see the light of day again because the world. And I don't know. I give up. I can't.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was actually kind of blown away by. I was seeing on Twitter all these people were like, "We can still impeach Trump." I was like, "Isn't he not going to be president in like a week?" I mean, does it
matter? Like, does it really matter? And also, if they do that, that's basically like a dagger. You know, like we want to really stick them. You know. And that's just going to inflame people. It's like, come on, man. It's just some days.
Like, my finger isn't really on the pulse of American politics. Like, but I see just all the stuff going on. But I don't really like look into it all, so I don't know anything. But that was the thing that I was like. But isn't January when you guys get your new president? So why worry about impeaching the old one? Like, just wait a week. By the time you get the process,
they don't want American politics.
They don't want him to run again.
Screaming, like people just screaming at each other, and it's like, oh, that's politics. Okay.
Is that it, Jeremy? Is that you can't run again if you get technically impeached?
No, I think they just want to make it so it's completely not an option.
They want to stack the deck against him. They want everything they can to use against him.
They want to spit on his grave.
Yeah.
Like legitimately.
Everything I learned from American politics comes from YouTube thumbnails.
You know what? YouTube thumbnails are accurate this time because that's pretty much how American politics.
I was really pissed when I found out Mike Pence doesn't actually have lightning powers.
Only when he encounters a young gay child that he's trying to shock the gay out of.
Was that the God King Pence meme or something? Oh, God.
I think that ultimate conspiracy theory, Trump declassifies everything, steps down, lets Pence take over, and Pence pardons him as they walk out the door.
I hope he like. I'm going to be combing through that stuff like aliens. What did they know? Declassify it. Like I want to know. That'd be the
We
fun.
find out Zuckerberg actually is an alien and nobody is surprised.
Decades ago and like infiltrated our society, like everyone knew.
Roger Haynes for Canadian $5. Speaking of wrestling games, you heard that Retromania game coming out next month, sequel to Arcade Smash WrestleFest.
Yes, Retromania is going to be awesome.
There you go.
It's got that old school WWF superstars vibe to it.
Well, I guess I should probably put that on the new release video. Actually, February, there's a lot of stuff coming out. The Neo collection and Neo 2 is coming out on PC as well as PS5. Super Mario thing, the Persona 5 spin-off, and apparently this wrestling game as well.
Andy from the UK for £2. Hey Ryan, how's your cows and pigs doing? I don't have any cows and pigs. I have a Dorito farm, so I've been told. I don't have cows or pigs though. But then Andy,
the Minecraft, the Minecraft stuff.
Oh, I do have them in Minecraft. Yeah. My God, I got so fucking mad. A creeper blew up my fucking farm right in between. I had everyone. It was like the South in the '60s. Everything was very segregated. Had my pigs here, had my cows right here, my sheep all right here. Then a creeper came and blew up the fence, and they all got mixed together. It was garbage. They desegregated my entire farm, and it didn't work out. They didn't get along, so I had to put things right. Get it back in the right spots. It took me fucking ages, but we did it. Andy from the UK also says, "Hey Jeremy, what's up, man? You suck at Mario Kart."
What's up, man? I love Andy. Andy from the UK is a longtime supporter of ours. Hung out with him at Star Wars Celebration. Good to see him back, talking shit in our chat. That's what we do. We talk shit, we meme, we make fun of each other, and then we just go on about our day. That's what we do.
That's right.
That should be.
Hey, Krista talking shit about my fucking Minecraft farm is way better than anything you could make. You're a woman. You can't build anything.
I love how Krista talks shit now.
Call of Duty has ruined her.
It's fucking great.
Emperor Billy Ritchie for $2. Get EVS and Cecil to host the Geeks and Gamers Awards. The whole MC thing going on. Be interesting. Thank you, Emperor Billy Ritchie. And then John Matrix for a $5 super sticker. Little pear-shaped man dropping the mic. Thank you, John Matrix. And John is leaving Twitter. I got your DM today. John's leaving Twitter, saying fuck Twitter. So John's always on our Sports War streams, which we will have tomorrow morning. So that'll be good. And that is it for Super Chats. Now, one thing we always do to end out the stream is we talk about what games we've been playing this week. We'll start with you, Lethal.
Bit of Warzone, bit of Cold War, Avengers, and I tried Destiny 2 for the first time.
How'd you like it?
I downloaded the free version and I played for about 2.5 hours. Story-wise, I got no fucking idea what's going on. But
you got to watch like 3 hours of My Name is Bife's channel, then you'll understand.
But it's okay, still early days. I'll probably stream on Twitch a bit later, throughout the week as well.
If you can suffer through Marvel's Avengers, you can play Destiny 2.
Yeah, I am invincible.
Yeah. Mark, what have you been playing?
I finished up Yakuza Like a Dragon. I'm about, I'd say, like 30% through editing my review for it, so I'll hopefully have that done by the end of the weekend. I've had to play Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Kiwami to catch some extra footage for that review. I also played the Geeks and Gamers game that now I'm forgetting the name of it.
Don't say
okay,
it.
No, I shouldn't say it. Okay, good thing I forgot then. So I played through that, and I also just this morning played the demo for Monster Hunter Rise, which is Nintendo Switch Monster Hunter game. I don't particularly like it, but I think that playing Monster Hunter World on PC at like a good frame rate has kind of spoiled me on it, so it feels really clunky on Switch, but that's not to say it's not good. Also, my Insect Glaive, which is the sort of cool staff thing that lets you fly up in the air, doesn't seem to work the way it does in World, and I don't think I know how to use it properly. But it's all right. I don't think I would give it a hard recommend, though.
There you go. Jeremy, what have you been playing?
I haven't had time to play anything except for what you've seen me play online. That's how busy I've been. So Cold War and Mario Kart. That's pretty much it. hopefully things calm down this week. Although I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be another crazy week of a lot of bullshit going on.
There you go. Upper echelon. What have you been playing this week?
Well, this particular week, Bannerlord, Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. I've just been modding it constantly, and there's so many good mods. And there's this one mod, it's a Lord of the Rings revamp. It's not out yet. It's called Kingdoms of Arda, and it looks, oh my god, the developers are doing crazy stuff with that. So yeah, Bannerlord, I've just been hooked right into that one.
Nice. I picked up Bannerlord on a GOG sale. I haven't got around to playing it yet though. But
oh, it's worth it, man. It's a good game, and you should definitely mod it though. Like there's certain fixes that developers launch it and then the community fixes it, right? But like it's especially true of Bannerlord.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fantastic with mods, and like the modding community is very, very vibrant there.
Is there any like particular critical one that you could recommend to me in the chat? Like something that fixes something major?
The trading mods. I think it's called Auto Trader, and then there's a diplomacy mod. I forget the name of it though. Just type diplomacy. It's the number one mod. So if you're searching for mods, diplomacy and trading are going to make it so much better.
Right on. Okay, cool.
Yep.
By the way, I don't know if anybody is on Gab, but I did start a Gab account. I'm trying to figure out if I like it or not. I like the UI. It's pretty good. So it's DDayCobra. If you guys want to follow me over there, I'm still trying to figure out if it's something I'm going to really put attention into and put Geeks and Gamers on. With everything going on, alt tech and alt platforms is very important. But I don't know much about Gab other than from their main account on Twitter. They like to fight with the quartering.
Yeah, Andrew Torba's a spurg. Yeah, that's what I know.
He goes nuts on the company Twitter account. Like he's a big fan of using that for his own personal stuff.
It's really a bad look. That's why I've never ever gotten into Gab before. But with everything going on, might as well check it out.
I don't think Andrew Torba would like Lethal Lightning at all because I think Torba's one of those he's one of those porn is destroying society and we should abolish all porn guys.
Yeah.
So. I don't think he would appreciate your channel where you interview world famous porn directors.
He can sit in the corner and spend his life as a virgin. I don't give a shit.
But we do want to give a big thank you to Upper Echelon for coming on the podcast and talking with us today. We appreciate it, man. If there's anybody out there that's not subbed to his channel, what the fuck are you doing with your life?
Great channel.
The most recent video you put out too is really good as well, man. So.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do. I don't know. I'm hoping to do more stuff like that. It's just I would focus on games, but there's so much shit in the world right now, and it's like I'm thinking about all this other stuff, so it just ends up happening.
Yeah, man. Well, again, thank you. Shout out to our regular guests.
And Ryan, you're gonna be on stream tonight. Feel free to plug that. I might make an appearance.
We are. Echo Base Network is doing a celebration stream. They're gonna have a bunch of people on there. I think Star Wars Theory is gonna be on. Robert Meyer Burnett. I think EVS will be there. I should be popping by for a little bit.
I'm gonna try. I'll try to hop on too.
Yeah, so that'll be cool. Other than that, I'm just doing my normal thing. But thank you.
Is live.
Oh yeah, shit. Let's raid Park Hoppin'. Good idea.
So Park Hoppin' is live. So if you guys want to go over there and see the most handsome man on YouTube, Drunk 3PO, the most famous man on YouTube right now, you guys go check them out. Let's see.
Let me put it in the chat real quick. There is that Park Hoppin' stream, guys. If you want to go hang out with Jay, who is
he is at Disney Springs somewhere. Yeah, he's live at Disney Springs right now.
There you go. Super chat to do things.
Upper Echelon, it was a pleasure having you on, man. Big fan of your channel, and
pleasure being here.
We'd love to have you on for some of our gaming streams in the future, man. We'll talk.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thank you to the mods for being awesome. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.
Bye, everybody.